Welcome to Freedom's Pep Rally. Thank you, Mike Violette. Another great show. And I am the follow-up act. I hope I do okay today. We've got a lot of stuff to get to. I really enjoy the interviews with Al Diamond that Mike has. And although I was a little surprised like Mike was with his take on COVID, I get it. I get it. Now, Al Diamond was saying, you know, COVID, he takes it very seriously. He's known people who have gotten it. And yeah, some people do get it very badly. Some people die. I've had two people I know, a friend of mine died. Both were, one of them was not older. She had underlying health conditions. She was actually in her 40s. And one of them was an older guy who caught it. I believe I heard, I don't know who he caught it from for sure, but I heard it was through a relative, somebody you don't think anything, but somebody who clearly didn't have symptoms. So yeah, I do get that. But there's a lot of stuff I don't get. We'll get to some of that with, Dr. Fauci. This is starting to blow up in Dr. Fauci's face in a big way, big bad way. So none of the stuff that we've been doing, arguably, with the exception of just not going anywhere, has not helped. If you didn't go out, you didn't associate with people, then your chances were almost zero of getting COVID-19. But that requires complete seclusion. Many older people said during the pandemic who were in nursing homes, who were locked up, who could not see their relatives except maybe occasionally through a window, they said they would rather die from COVID than be separated from their family. That's saying something. Now, according to this email dump between Dr. Fauci and others, whole lot of emails, whole lot of others, Dr. Fauci maintained the masks don't do a damn thing. Privately, not publicly, privately. So it's a head shaker at best, complete fraud at worst. Wow. And how vehemently he defended masks with Rand Paul, yelled at Rand Paul, who's also a physician, by the way. We'll get to that. Get to that and a whole lot more. Something else Al Diamond said that I love to hear this. He lives in Western Maine, beautiful Western Maine. I've got my daughter and son-in-law live over that way too. See the beautiful mountains in the distance, and Al Diamond's seeing mountains. He's noticing windmills on them. You can't have nothing. You can't have anything nice anymore. The leftist radicals are destroying it. And it's not going to get any better if we don't, I don't want to say that as a definitive statement. Let me complete it. Things are not going to get better if we don't do something. What are we going to do? Well, I'm not really sure. I mean, we need to figure that out. We need to, at the very least, be very, 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 very vocal and not hide behind our keyboards or whatever, trying to be nicey nice to everybody who we disagree with. That ship has sailed, because the other side, there are two sides to this. Well, there are probably more. I mean, there are moderates too. I get that. Who can be won over, by the way. I believe the mere fact they're moderates means that they aren't far left, nor are they far right, but they are pro-freedom. Whether they're Democrat or Republican moderates, I suspect they are objective and they want to do what they feel at the end of the day, I hate that, is the right thing. So those are the people we can reach. Those are the people we need to talk to. Talk with, not to. Two different things there, by the way. Let me expound a little bit on that. And I believe me, I do the same thing. Because this is my job. I talk to you. I like to talk with you. I like the give and take. I'm seeing some give now this morning from Jeremy. Hello, Jeremy. Hello, Kim. Hi, Dottie, Bridget, Derica, Chad, Leanne. Okay, so I'm seeing some names on my screen there. We can give and take, and you feel free to give. And, you know, we'll go back and forth like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with Shelley Rudnicki after 10 o'clock, the main legislative update. But you want to talk with people and not to them or at them. Because, and that's what the left is famous for doing. Good morning, Mark. Mark Zucker's in here. Good morning. Or Zucker Mark, I'm sorry. Welcome. Good morning to you. I like that. Who knows? Maybe it's Mark Zucker. I don't know. Said good morning, though, so I like that. So we've got to have dialogue. The left is great at talking at you, telling you you're wrong, telling you to get a life, telling you you're racist. Tell. Invite them to talk with you. Now, if they won't, I guess you have to decide what you're going to do. You're going to take it to the next step and start talking at them, telling them they're wrong because they aren't going to listen. The only way people are going to listen is if you have a dialogue. And like I said, I'm preaching to the choir here because I'm guilty of doing the same thing oftentimes. I get so frustrated, I will just start lambasting people who assert that racist, white supremacy and racism and climate is an existential threat. Sometimes I just get so frustrated because I'm human, and I will just let it rip. And I know they're not going to listen. I know they're just going to get upset, and they're either going to send some hateful message back, or they're going to delete me and block me, whatever. But we've got to have some kind of a dialogue. I think. I don't have all the answers, but I would think that's what we've got to do. We've got to come to some sort of agreement that the country is headed in the wrong direction. Now, that's something I will not argue about. The country is headed, there are many on the left who think the country is headed in the right direction. I don't want to have that argument because the country is not headed in the right direction. Tell me how you think the country is headed in the right direction right now, and I'll listen. I will listen, but I will also tell you why it's not. And there are many reasons. You're going to hear one big reason from Joe Biden himself this morning on Legacy 1160. Joe Biden himself, yesterday, he said two things that will make your head spin. He had this big briefing. Of course, number one, he sounded like an idiot. Do you know that Joe Biden thinks he's been in office for over a year? Yeah, I'm not lying. He said that. Not those words, but he said that. He didn't backtrack. He didn't say, oh, sorry. No, he just stated it as fact and continued on. And you know all of the things that are going on in this country right now. We have a horror at the border. Lauren Boebert, the great freshman representative from Colorado who carries a gun. As AOC says, a gun! They have a gun! Why do they need a gun? So she carries a gun because she's an American and we have the Second Amendment. And she went to the border. And she saw a lot of people there who shouldn't be coming here, who are being allowed to come here. But there's one person in particular she didn't see. And I bet you can guess who that is. We'll talk about that coming up. So lots of good stuff. Please share the video if you're on social media. If you're listening on our audio, at legacy1160.com. If you've got the listen live, share that with your friends. Email the link to your friends. If you're watching on social media, please share on your page. If you run a page that is more conservative or more liberal, and you just want to, or more, you're probably, if you're listening to this show and you're a liberal, you're not going to share this show to your page. But if you have a page that welcomes everybody, everybody needs to hear the truth. We have the truth here. So please share if you would. I sure would appreciate it. And I promise I will not let you down. I will always speak the truth, regardless of what, and believe me, I'm getting pushback. But thankfully, I work for a company that stands behind me, and I love that. And I've got Mike by my side. Mike can take down just about anybody I could come up against. Mike's a brute force type of guy, even for his age. Let's start the show. Before we get into things too hot and heavy here, let's see what happened on this day in history. It is June the 3rd, 2 days prior to my 40th anniversary, by the way. And this is the Associated Press.
June 3rd, 1965.
Get back in. Okay. I don't know. We're coming over the west end. They want you to come back in now.
Astronaut Ed White becomes the first American to walk in space during the Gemini 4 mission. 1989, Iran's spiritual leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini, dies in Tehran. Khomeini's rise to power in the Islamic Revolution led to the hostage crisis, in which Iran held dozens of Americans captive for 444 days. 1963, Pope John XXIII, who pushed to modernize the Roman Catholic Church, dies in Rome at age 81. Pope Paul VI succeeds him as pontiff. 1937, Britain's Duke of Windsor marries American divorcee Wallis Warfield Simpson in France. It happens 6 months after the former King Edward VIII abdicated his country's throne for Simpson. 1926.
I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness.
Allen Ginsberg, the poet who became one of the icons of America's Beat Generation, is born in Newark, New Jersey. And 1906. Josephine Baker, the dancer, singer, and actress who gained fame with her shows in Paris during the 1920s, is born in St. Louis. Today in history, June 3rd. Camille Bohannon, The Associated Press.
Freedom's Pep Rally, powered by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. Wow, today's Thursday, huh? Sure. Nice. I like it. And a short week, thanks to Memorial Day being on a Monday. It was more than just a long weekend, by the way. I did make sure to post a picture of my dad. In his Marine jacket is still on my page. Over at American Women Who Bear Arms, there's still the cover photo is still a nice picture of a graveyard with American flags all over it. And I'm not sure. I forget about this. I feel horrible. I forget about this. But my friend Ricky Harrington, who is a U.S. Marine, every year for the last several years, he's gone out and he's stood at attention at the main Veterans Cemetery in Augusta. And he has done it in the rain. He's done it in rain. He's done it in heat. And he does it. And I mean, he literally stands there in full dress uniform with a salute. And he stands there for hours every Memorial Day. What a guy. What a great guy. And I feel absolutely horrible. I was going to have him on the show, and we got so busy, it just slipped my mind. So if you know Ricky and you see him or talk to him, tell him that Johnny James is very sorry. I really missed the boat on that one, and that was my own fault. Time right now on Legacy 1169-17. Coming up at 10 o'clock, we've got the main legislative update with our friend, our confidant, Shelley Rudnicki from District 108. Let's start out with Lauren Boebert, first of all. Lauren Boebert is the Colorado representative, gun-toting Colorado representative. Coincidentally, she's from a town called Rifle, Colorado. She owns Shooter's Grill, where all of the wait staff open carry firearms. That's a rule. If you're gonna be a wait staff at Shooter's Grill, you've got to take the course. You've got to learn gun safety. You've got to carry a gun. God bless America. I love that. Absolutely love that. If memory serves, the reason she did that, somebody got killed. There was an assault or something outside of Shooter's Grill, and somebody was murdered outside her restaurant. I'd like to get her on sometime and just ask her about that. But after that, she decided, we're going to be protected here all the time. We're going to be protected. Wait staff's going to carry guns. I'm going to carry a gun. She's not there much anymore, but her wait staff, I'm sure. In fact, why don't we try to give Shooter's Grill a call sometime? I don't think we'll have time to this morning. Maybe if we do, we will. If not, we'll do it again sometime. We will do it sometime and find out if they're still carrying. It's Colorado, so I don't even know what time they open out there. So Lauren Boebert, Colorado representative, did a video at the southern border and correctly said that Biden and Harris thumbing their nose at protecting Americans is an impeachable offense. Do you not agree? I couldn't agree more. So why then? Maybe she will introduce an article of impeachment. I hope she does. I hope somebody does. I hope the Republicans get off their butts and start doing to Joe Biden what Joe Biden's party did to Donald Trump for 4 consecutive years. Now, it's hard to think of who could be quite as deplorable and slimy and sleazy as Adam Schiff or Eric Swalwell or Jerry Nadler on the Republican side, but I'm sure we could come up with some people who could do the job. So the government is charged with, first of all, you got to understand this, the government is charged with protecting us from enemies, foreign and domestic. We all agree on that, right? So the left now would rather spend their time virtue signaling, destroying our infrastructure, and inciting race wars and violence. Something they accused Trump of doing. You know why nobody's talking about the fact that they're inciting violence? The fact that they are the problem. You know why? Because like Saul Alinsky told them to do many, many years ago, and the Democrats follow this playbook. Don't second guess me on that. They keep the pressure on. There's no time. They don't allow time for Republicans to start a narrative because they keep the pressure on. They do not relent. That is their strength. Morals, science, not their strength. Not their strength. If they don't have enough morals in them to judge a soapbox. What not soapbox? What am I thinking of? The Boy Scouts, the Derby, the Pinewood Derby. They don't have enough morals to judge a Pinewood Derby fairly. So Lauren Boebert says she has been looking there in Texas, but she's seen, surprisingly, no sign of border czar Kamala Harris, who's in charge of the border, who is also now in charge of voting, who is also in charge of something with NASA. She's got a lot of charges. What's she doing? That's about it right there. Here's Lauren Boebert at the border.
The president needs to keep our country secure, and he is not doing so. He absolutely should be impeached for what's taking place. This is an impeachable offense.
Right.
This is a complete crisis, and he is endangering American citizens. He is endangering the illegal aliens that he is incentivizing to come and cross our borders, to break our laws and cross into our country illegally in hopes that maybe they'll make it, maybe they'll survive, and then we'll take care of them with our hard-earned tax dollars. Look at California. See how that's working out for them. Look at the mothers who are sending their young teenage daughters on this journey alone with the Plan B pill before their journey even begins, because they expect their daughters to be assaulted. Look at the children who are in these holding facilities, who are wrapped up in Mylar blankets and tinfoil blankets. This is a humanitarian crisis, and he absolutely needs to be held accountable for what's going on.
Is he going to be? So, Representative Boebert, introduce an article of impeachment. I think that would be a great idea. See if you can get others to sign on. What Joe Biden has done just at the border, is absolutely a violation of the founding documents. Protecting us from enemies, foreign and domestic? I think not. Well, these aren't enemies. These are asylum seekers coming because of climate change, says Kamala Harris, the border czar. Really? So they're climate migrants. That's what she calls them, climate migrants. No, there are some sexual offenders. There are a lot of the drug cartel. There are MS-13 gang members, and there are some legitimate asylum seekers. What is there more of? Well, we don't know, because the borders are open. I saw a report last night. This made me kind of chuckle. I saw a report on NBC News that they were saying, Joe Biden says the border is closed. They said, and what we saw did not show that to be true. This is NBC. It's at a point now, and you know it's gone way beyond ignoring when NBC News admits that what Joe Biden is saying and what is happening are two completely different things. Because they have the back of the Democrats, NBC and MSNBC and all the rest. But they were saying last night, what Joe Biden says doesn't stand up. Borders aren't closed. People are flooding across. And while the Border Patrol is trying to stop the migrants from coming across, some are dying. They have found little kids being thrown over walls, left abandoned near the river. They found bodies because Joe's open border. Come on in. He said, surge the border. He said this during the campaign. We want them to surge the border. Well, they listened. They were hoping for Joe. And when he got elected, they knew the door was open, and it was, and they came. Many of them died. Many of them coyotes. Those are people who smuggled children into the country illegally as family, saying, oh, these are our kids. They take off into the country. And also, by the way, while the Border Patrol is busy trying to collect up the coyotes or parents, whatever they are, you can't tell. I mean, it's not like they have identification. Some of the kids are too young to really say anything. And some of the parents actually sent the kids with the coyotes. And like Lauren Boebert was saying, given the Plan B pill, knowing that some of these young girls would be sexually assaulted and impregnated, it's mayhem. It's utter mayhem. And while this is happening, while this Border Patrol, Customs and Border Patrol, is trying to stop the flood of migrants from all the open areas, truckloads of who knows who, sexual predators, drug cartels, and so forth, driving across the border. Van loads, truckloads of people going to who knows where, because there's not enough border patrol to take care of the situation. Meanwhile, you have idiots in Congress, AOC, you know, I'm not going to go through their names. It makes me sick to say their names. You know who they are. They want to get rid of ICE. They want to get rid of immigrations and custom enforcement because they protect us from migrants, but we don't want to be protected from migrants, say Ilhan Omar and the rest. We want them to come in. You know why? Because they care? No. Votes, illegal votes. That's why they want the migrants. That's why they don't want voter ID. That's why they tell you if you do want voter ID, you're racist and white supremacist. Heck, Maine. The Maine leadership, Ryan Fecto and the douchebags on the left in Maine, telling people that they are it's white supremacists to want voter ID. They're liars, and they know it. They know why they don't want voter ID. They know it's not. They're the racists. They are the white supremacists. They are the racists. They are inviting these people in, and they know why. Votes. Power for their party forever, if not for themselves. It's so clear. It is just so clear. If you only open your eyes, and I know most people listening to the show probably do have their eyes open. D.W. Harris, good morning. Good morning. Wayne, thank you, Wayne. Yeah, my anniversary, believe it or not, 40th anniversary coming up on Saturday. Alany, good morning. I left you, I tagged you in a post, Alany. We're going to be talking about this woman a little bit later on this morning. Nikki Fried. Nikki Fried is a Democrat running for governor in the state of Florida. Oh, she's a piece of work. Oh, Nikki Fried. Oh, she's so pretty, though. She's so pretty. Really? Really? I heard somebody say, Nikki Fried, she's gorgeous. Nikki Fried? Really? I'm sorry. I can't look at anybody who is that far left, who is that tyrannical. I can't even look. They could be Linda Lovelace, for crying out loud, back in the 70s. And I could look at them if I knew they were a tyrannical person and they loved tyrannical government and they were a dictator. I couldn't see any beauty in them, because I look at the person's soul. I look inside them first. And if they suck on the inside, then I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what they look like on the outside. So maybe she's pretty to some. But Nikki Fried is running for governor of Florida. And we'll let you hear her reasons. You will laugh your butt off. You will laugh your butt off when you hear what she says. But the thing is, so many leftists out there drinking the Kool-Aid, the sheeple, the ignorant among us, we know who they are. They believe it. They love it. Oh, Nikki Fried, she is going to help us. Who could help you more than Ron DeSantis? I mean, he got the right people injections. He opened up the state. Nothing, the economy is still thriving. People are still going. People are loving Florida. And Nikki Fried is going to stop the corruption. Oh, that's priceless. Absolutely priceless. 9:31. We're going to take a quick break here. I'll be right back. Please share the video, share the love, and share the freedom. We are Legacy 1160 WSKW, Maine's Heritage Station, online at legacy1160.com. You can find the live audio stream there 24/7, brought to you by Harry J. Smith Company on Sanger Avenue in Waterville. We also have the app, the Legacy app, at the Apple Store and Google Play Store. You can go to either one of those and get that, brought to you by Hardy Wolf and Downing, Maine's personal injury lawyers. Video is there at Legacy 1160 and all over the interwebs, on social media, everywhere. And that's all powered by Mooney's Collision Centers with locations throughout Maine. I'm John James, and this show is powered by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. We'll be right back.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Spring is the time of renewal for both you and your home. So brighten your day and your surroundings with great items from Townline Antiques. Do you love classic decor? You'll find furniture, artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more pieces around every corner. Their classic colors and styles will have you thinking spring and feeling invigorated every time you see them. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townline Antiques has rare items that you won't find anywhere else. Townline is also showcasing a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. Each piece is one of a kind with its own unique flair of colors and form. You simply have to see them to appreciate their beauty. And for everyone who loves to bring items back to life, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paints that give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy this morning with a slight chance for a light rain shower. Staying mostly cloudy today and a little cooler. Highs will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s, warmest inland. Partly sunny with a chance for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. 70s to near 80 degrees. Mostly sunny and warm this weekend with highs near 90 on Sunday.
Thank you very much, Lexi. John James back with you. Good morning, Bridget, my dear old friend. And I don't use the term old, Bridget, meaning age. I mean, we're old friends. We're old amigos, as it were. I just posted this. She wrote, and anybody with any biblical knowledge will see the similarities here. I'm sorry if you're watching on video. I look like an old man. I look like Chuck Schumer putting my glasses down to read this. America is Babylon. She is identified as the woman that rides the beast. Nations that hate her because she sits and holds them down. They hate us. We are the richest nation and identified as the woman, the Statue of Liberty. It's interesting, Bridget, that you bring this up. No, you are not. Stop that. You are not old. If you're old, that means I'm old and I'm not old. Okay? We on the same page now? I think we are. I did a voiceover recently that went through all this, and you will probably, if you peruse some of the conservative websites, every once in a while you get these pop-ups, or you get these ads in emails that you get from conservative sites like the Daily Wire and these other things, and I've done a bunch of these things. They're voiceovers that are, selling information, selling books about what is going on. One of them had to do with exactly this. It was about a 20-minute voiceover outlining what is going on today and how it relates to biblical predictions. And it's all very amazing. It's all very amazing. And if you believe the Bible is a fairy tale, and you listen to something that is laid out the way this script that I did was laid out, maybe I'll play a little bit of it for you sometime. I don't have access to it right now, but it's very interesting. I'm glad you weighed in with that, Bridget. We've got 9:36 right now on Legacy 1160 WSKW. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally. And one of the things we've got to watch out for now, they're talking a lot about this, is the filibuster. You keep hearing about the filibuster. So what about the filibuster? What's the filibuster do? Well, the filibuster is, it allows fair play when somebody else has the majority. It gives the minority a chance at blocking things that the majority can do whatever they want to, basically, if they have enough votes without the filibuster. So what the filibuster does is it gives the minority party, or in this case, the Republican Party in the Senate, an opportunity to, speak and talk and stall to avoid getting into debate and voting on certain issues, like, for instance, making Washington, D.C. a state. That's one of the many reasons the Democrats want to get rid of the filibuster. Now, didn't hear about it last, during the Trump administration, right? Senate had the Senate didn't have the majority, did they? The Democrats didn't have the majority. Of course, okay. And there you go. That's why. That's why. Republicans had a majority in the Senate. Now it's sort of flipped. If memory serves. Hi, Deb. And so the Democrats want to get rid of the filibuster because, as Chuck Schumer said, Chuck Schumer is one of the big ones pushing for it. Chuck Schumer himself said, if we win Georgia, we can change America. Spoken like a tyrant. If you listen to him say that, he sounded like a tyrant, like a dictator. Like America needs to be changed. Why, Chuck? Because you don't like it, because it's not giving you and your party enough power. That's what he meant. It was all self-serving, had nothing to do with the people, because he doesn't care about people. He doesn't care about his own constituents. You think he cares about America? He does not. So they want to get rid of the filibuster. But they're going to have a little bit of a problem because there are a couple of people on the D side that want the filibuster. They are, at least a couple, Joe Manchin and Senator Kyrsten Sinema, who is from Arizona. She's a Democrat. Now, on Tuesday, she reiterated her support for the filibuster, despite growing pressure to eliminate the longstanding supermajority requirement for passing legislation. Here's what she said on Twitter. And this actually set the leftists off. And they went on their little tirade. Here's one of their own. She's apparently been canceled by the left now, even though she's a Democrat, even though she votes with Joe Biden. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. She did one thing wrong, so now she sucks.
Well, as folks in Arizona know, I've long been a supporter of the filibuster because it is a tool that protects the democracy of our nation rather than allowing our country to ricochet wildly every 2 to 4 years back and forth between policies. The idea of the filibuster was created by those who came before us, the United States Senate, to create comity and to encourage senators to find bipartisanship and work together. And while there are some who don't believe that bipartisanship is possible, I think that I'm a daily example that bipartisanship is possible. Not just this trip today and tomorrow that John and I are doing, but the work that John and I and many other of my colleagues in both parties do on a regular basis. So to those who say we must make a choice between the filibuster and X, I say this is a false choice. The reality is that when you have a system that's not working effectively, and I would think that most would agree that the Senate's not a particularly well-oiled machine, right? The way to fix that is to change your behavior. Yeah. Not to eliminate the rules or change the rules, right, but to change your behavior.
Wow, that's not spoken like a true Democrat, is it? Democrats want to change the rules. When it's not working for them, they want to change the rules. We've seen that over and over and over again. We saw it during the Trump administration. They changed the rules because the Constitution doesn't matter to them. I don't have to say that many more times before you're finally going to believe, wow, they really don't care about the Constitution. Look what they did during the impeachment inquiry for Donald Trump. The Democrats, Adam Shifty Schiff, the sleazebag, the scumbag, the slime ball from California, along with Swalwell, the slime ball from California, went down into skiffs, into secret meeting rooms in the Capitol basement where they wouldn't allow Republicans to come in while they did their inquiry. So much for of the people, by the people, and for the people, right? People be damned. We changed it. We want this to be secret. We changed the rules. It's what they do. That's how they roll. That's how they operate. They're sleazy. They're corrupt. Absolutely corrupt. All right, so Dementia Joe. Are you ready for this? I want you to hear this. This guy and the left, they have gone so far left. This is way left of Bill Clinton. This is left of Barack Obama. This is way, way left of Jimmy Carter or John Kennedy or way left. They are, woohoo, peace out. They're out there, baby. They're way out there. Woo! They're out of their minds. So Joe Biden yesterday delivered remarks on the COVID response and the vaccine program. Nearly 170 million Americans of every party, every background, every walk of life have stepped up, rolled up their sleeves, and gotten the shot, said Joe. 52% of adults are now fully vaccinated. Huh. All right. Then he made the mistake of hearkening back to when his term began. And he clearly had no clue what he was talking about. Listen closely as he talks about when he started his term.
Since January 20, and we're talking now about 15 months ago, the average daily cases are down from 184,000 to 19,000.
January 20th, just 15 months ago. That's your president. Laughing stock of the world. Xi Jinping blew coffee out his nose. Vladimir Putin blew vodka out his nose when he heard Joe Biden say that. That's when he began his adventure. 15 months ago, January 20th, 15 months ago. How time flies when you're unconscious, huh? Dangerous criminals are flooding the borders, right? Nah, not a problem. Defunding the police, minor. Murder rates, especially black on black, through the roof. Nothing to see here. Oil pipeline, meat suppliers hacked. Just little problems, according to Joe Biden. On China and Russia, not even on the radar. In fact, you may be surprised to learn the most critical problem in the land right now, in our homeland, the most critical, pressing problem right now. Listen, Joe will tell you because he knows.
According to the intelligence community, terrorism from white supremacy is the most lethal threat to the homeland today. Not ISIS, not Al-Qaeda, white supremacists.
Yeah, that you just heard. That's the president. That was the president. That was the guy the mainstream media says won the presidency. That was him saying that the biggest problem in our country, the biggest threat, not ISIS, not Al-Qaeda, not people crossing the border, not people hacking our infrastructure. White supremacy. How long are we going to let him stay in there? How long? White supremacy, says the racist president. Jim Crow 2.0, as he likes to say. Black, white, yellow, we need our country back. We, the people, need our people. We, the people, are all races, all creeds, all people who are citizens of America. We, the people, we're colorblind, not white supremacists. Everybody who's white is a white supremacist. That's critical race theory. Oh, isn't that good, huh? That's what the left loves, critical race theory and anti-racism. Woke, woke, woke. The president of USM follows Ibram Kendi. Anti-racism. Please, students, sign our anti-racism pledge if you're a student and if you want to not be a racist, which you are anyway because you were born a racist. You're white. That's our college. Greeley High School is teaching critical race theory. Parents spoke out. You heard him on the air yesterday morning right here. Who is pushing race? Who is making race an issue? Who is inciting violence between the races, if not the Democrats? Nobody. They're the ones. And then you've got your hacks on mainstream media, like Joy Reid loves to push the hot buttons and build a animosity between blacks and whites. She loves it. Why do we talk about color? Morgan Freeman, how do you stop racism? Stop talking about it. But they can't. They won't. They won't. Because they love it. It gives them power. They gin up racism and violence and hatred, and then they have to step in to save the day. Every time Joe Biden opens his mouth, he incites violence among the ignorant. And he or his handlers know exactly what he's doing. They want it. It helps them get to their end. And we know what that is, don't we? Mm-hmm. Speaking of dangers to the homeland, according to an article at foxnews.com, the FBI says Russia-based hacker group, and there's no name for the group, they haven't given a name, but a Russian-based hacker group are the ones who victimized JBS Foods, the meat producer. That's why hamburger and steak and everything, beef is going to be going way up. Ransomware. Other hackers based in Russia and elsewhere struck the Colonial Pipeline and other infrastructures, including water treatment plants, small businesses, Washington, D.C.'s Metropolitan Police Department, even hospitals. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said as much last month, adding that ransomware attacks cost victims a combined $350 million last year. It was, now to show you how racist Biden is. So Biden says white supremacy is our biggest problem. We have all this other crap going on in the periphery. Much of it from outsiders, whether it's illegal immigrants or China or Russia. Who knows? Now we've got Israel, Hamas, and it looks more and more like how much money has Joe Biden given to Hamas? By the way, they were trampling the American flag, burning the American flag. And Joe Biden rewarded him by giving him billions of dollars for that. I've got that in the pile of stuff here somewhere, too. So Biden says white supremacy is our biggest problem. If it is, the Democrats are the ones doing it. It was, follow me here, it was Biden who told the black man, if you don't know if you're voting for me or Trump, you ain't black. It was Biden who recently buddied up to blackface baby killer Virginia Governor Ralph Northam. It was Biden who insinuates that black people can't figure out how to get on the internet and can't afford an ID card or attorneys. Joe Biden and Democrats are racist, and some of them don't even know it. The ones that call you racist, the lily white virtue signaling friends on Facebook or Twitter who call you racist, they're racist and they don't even know it. Shh. They don't know. They don't realize how stupid they look, how ignorant they are. They have no clue. Some of them are school teachers. I know some of the positions of some of these people. One is a business guy, is a caterer, has a very successful catering business. One is a school teacher, of all things. God help the kids in his class. They don't even know they're the racists. So, former Trump spokeswoman Kayleigh McEnany, who is now on Fox News, recently echoed that sentiment, saying the leftists look for racism under the rug. Just because, I love this, just because they want something to be enraged by.
Looking under the rug everywhere for a racist so that you can be outraged and you can cancel them and somehow feel good about yourself. It's insane. But one way to be immune from all of that is to be an elected official with a D behind your name.
There you
because
go.
Then you can be Ralph Northam and you can wear blackface, and then the president of the United States will stand by you and embrace you, as President Biden did this week.
Yeah.
And a day later, President Biden says, for some reason, black entrepreneurs don't have lawyers and accountants, and a huge stereotype. So as long as you've got that D and you're an elected official, you're in the clear.
You can be as racist as you want if you're a D, and the mob will protect you. The mob will protect you. The gang, the violent thugs of our society is the mob. Many of them are violent only with their vitriolic words, but violent nonetheless. They will do whatever they're told. They are a compliant lot. They think they're intellectual. They think they are better than you. They think they're more virtuous than you and me. But the fact is, they are ignorant and don't even realize it. They have no clue. No clue, because the left strokes them every time they echo what they're told to echo and say what they're told to say and verify what they're told to verify. They get a big old pat on the back. Oh, good woke sheep. Thank you. You're doing a great job. And their chest puffs out and they get all self-righteous. Well, I guess I'm somebody now. No, you're not. You're an ignorant fool. You're not an individual. You're not a critical thinker. Get a brain. Get some critical thinking. Think for yourself. Think objectively. What could be better than that? What could be better than being an individual and thinking objectively, thinking for yourself, taking care of yourself and your family, your loved ones? That's what you do. Don't worry about the greater good. Worry about yourself. Others can worry about themselves. It's called freedom. Pretty simple. Pretty easy to understand. It's a simple concept to grasp. And never, and this is something that also is lost on the left, never, ever trust the government. They are not your friend. They are not here to help. They are, in fact, the enemy of the people. Save for a few. I'm not saying every individual in government is corrupt. However, we know the left. We understand the left is a party of corruption, a party of control, and you can group them all in together because, with the exception of a couple like Joe Manchin and the woman who we just had on just a few minutes ago, Kirsten, forget her last name, from Arizona, they're all on the same page. They all are pushing for the same agenda, control and power for one party, the single party rule. This is their goal. This is what they want. And this is what they're doing all together, all in lockstep. Being led by Nancy Pelosi. And Chuck, let's change America, Schumer. I'll be right back. We've got Shelley Rudnicki coming up after the top of the hour. Our main legislature update. Let's find out what kind of shenanigans the Democrats have been playing this week. Next, I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Legacy 1160 AM presents the brand new Legacy app. Now you can listen to WSKW wherever you are. Just download the brand new Legacy app at the Android or Apple Store or get the links at legacy1160.com. The brand new Legacy app brought to you by Hardy, Wolf & Downing, Maine's injury lawyers. Call 1-800-INJURED or visit online at hardywolf.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff here from K-Tronics, your local TV expert, and I want to tell you about Dish TV. If technology, value, and customer satisfaction are important to you, then it's time to cut the cable cord once and for all. Upgrade your TV experience and start saving with Dish today. Drop by K-Tronics at 57 Main Street in Madison. Call 207-696-3200 or visit us on the web at ktronicsmaine.com. We are K-Tronics, your locally owned, operated, and trusted satellite TV experts.
Hey folks, who's thinking about spring? Hi, this is Bernie from Trailside Performance. If you're taking on those tough chores around your property, come check out the #1 selling farm tractor in the world, Mahindra. Not only are Mahindra tractors tough, but they come with a 7-year warranty to back it up. With Mahindra, there's no regeneration, no diesel particulate filter, and no hassle. I personally invite you to our Winslow or Newport location to learn more about Mahindra and their awesome discounts and finance programs. At Trailside Performance, we service what we sell, and we sell Mahindra.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy this morning with a slight chance for a light rain shower. Staying mostly cloudy today and a little cooler. Highs will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s, warmest inland. Partly sunny with a chance for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. 70s to near 80 degrees. Mostly sunny and warm this weekend with highs near 90 on Sunday.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Faith Abube. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says she's optimistic about the president's goal of getting 70% of Americans vaccinated by the 4th of July. To do it, they've implemented outreach programs. They're focused on meeting people where they are.
Then the question beyond access is, do you need more information? Do you really want to understand more about how we got science here and 3 really safe and effective vaccines within a year? And let us explain to you how this is standing on decades of science.
Following an ABC News investigation, the NFL has pledged to eliminate the use of race norming in evaluating claims in its billion-dollar concussion settlement. Black former players accusing the NFL of discrimination in awarding that money. The Labor Department this morning announcing 385,000 Americans filed for first-time unemployment claims last week. That's down from the previous week, when the number was 406,000. This is ABC News. Another member of the board of ExxonMobil losing their seat after a new push by shareholders for more of a focus on climate change.
Preliminary tallies last week had 2 of the challengers nominated by a dissident group of shareholders elected. But now, as of Wednesday, Exxon announcing that 3 pro-climate action candidates were elected to its board of directors. 9 of the 12-member board supported by Exxon were re-elected. The dissident group calls itself Engine Number 1, a hedge fund that owns just a sliver of all Exxon shares. Its candidates had support of some of the largest money managers in the world, including the nation's largest public pension funds. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
And the Tokyo Olympics may have some problems finding help. About 10,000 of the 80,000 unpaid Olympic volunteers now say they won't be there, some citing worries about the coronavirus. Only about 2% of Japan's population has been vaccinated, and the games start next month. Faith Abube, ABC News.
O'Reilly. Get more miles on the road with O'Reilly Auto Parts. A clean fuel system means better gas mileage for your car. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner for $8. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. For a clean, lubricated, more fuel-efficient system, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Okay, 3 dozen by tomorrow morning. Yeah, the roses and
Faraz's flower shop is blooming. To keep up with high demand, he must strengthen his business's roots.
Just 1 second. Faraz's flowers. Hold, please. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to Faraz's.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. Well, sorry about that. Welcome back. I just trying to get things I need ready to go here. Look at me struggling there on video. You could have at least been here to help me. Just rush over if you ever see me struggling. Kidding. I'm kidding. We've got Shelley Rudnicki coming right up right here. And, of course, our weekly update here on Legacy 1160 is brought to you by Shelley's Used Cars and Caring Hands. And we will have Shelley Rudnicki coming right up right here.
A fair price on a used vehicle from a dealer who's exceptional and moral. That's exactly what you'll get at Shelley's Used Cars LLC in Fairfield. Shelley and Anthony Rudnicki are straight shooters, and they'll always do what's right by their friends and neighbors. And if you don't know them personally, you're just a friend they haven't met. And if you're looking for a good used vehicle, you might consider stopping by and saying hi. You can pay weekly with reasonable payments, and of course, they always take cash. Since 2013, Shelley's Used Cars, Norridge Walk Road, Fairfield. Like them on Facebook. Caring Hands Home Care LLC has immediate openings statewide. Personal support specialists assist our clients in their homes with their activities of daily life, like assistance with personal care, meal prep, and light housekeeping. Candidates need reliable transportation, a valid driver's license, and current vehicle insurance. Caring Hands prefers PSS with certification and experience. However, we provide training for new hires through orientation, job shadowing, and the PSS course. Call 742-0002 or go to caringhandsme.com.
All right, here we are. We're ready to go now. Get all my housekeeping out of the way. As I say that, I remember I did some weed whacking yesterday, and I have to check myself for ticks. Shelley Rudnicki's on the phone. Good morning, Shelley. How are you?
Good, John. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Now, you are actually at the State House this morning, right?
Yes. We'll be getting ready to go into session. I stepped out of caucus. What we do when we're in caucus is we take a look at the calendar and we go over the different bills that are coming before us today. It's a way for us, if we have not had the opportunity to read bill, we've got almost 60 divided reports on the calendar today. Yesterday we had 80. And there is no way as a single representative, you know everything about every bill that's coming forward.
Right.
So this caucus gives us a chance to, for committee members on those committees for those bills, to discuss them, let us know, talk about the bills, and then we make decisions whether we're going to roll call or we're going to let it go under the hammer because it pretty much means nothing, or, it's like, so there's a variety of things. So we talk about those things in caucus before we meet, before we go into the House, so that we have a general idea of what the bill's about. Because with as many bills as we have to go forward, there's just no way that we would know every single bill.
Right.
So it gives us that opportunity. So I was in caucus listening to that. I'll get caught up when I go back in. So that's not a problem. But we had an interesting day yesterday.
Oh, really? Now, I know you're back at the State House, right?
We are back at the State House, which is nice, but, we're having to follow the Ledge Council's rules, which is dominated by 6 Democrats and 4 Republicans. And the Democrats have set the rule that we have to wear masks in the House. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's not about the mask. It's about control.
Right. Of course.
We did have 7 members, and you got a chance to talk to Representative Sampson last week about it, that went in last week and without masks, got stripped of their committees.
Yep.
So the thought process was, where were we going to stand yesterday? Were we going to come in without masks? Because I would have been right beside them last week. No doubt in my mind, I would have been here on Monday and I would have gotten stripped of my committee. But I was out of town. I was actually on vacation that I desperately needed.
No kidding. Yeah, good for you.
But we had a conversation, and I was struggling all weekend with the decision I was going to make, because there was a threat that we could actually lose our voice and lose our vote if we had come in and they decided to punish us. And again, the Democrats have complete control, so they have control over the punishment, whether it's the Speaker, the Ethics Committee, whatever. And if we had done that, we could have been censured, which basically, or not allowed back in, and it would have taken any vote that we had. Now, do we have a lot of say? No. What we do have say over is sometimes we can persuade the other side to our way of thinking. It did happen a couple times yesterday. Out of 80 divided reports, it did happen a couple of times.
Okay.
But what we will have say over coming up is bonds, because they need a 2/3 vote for bonds. And we would have a say if the governor actually vetoes things, which any bill she vetoes at this point, to me, that's a Democrat bill, would be a plus. And they have to override a governor's veto. They need a 2/3 majority, and they can't get that without us. So I struggled with my decision, and it came down to me. And the reason that I came into the State House to begin with back in January, following their rules, was to represent my constituents. And that's where I came down. Now, I know some people are disappointed in me for doing that, but I felt that it was in the best interest of the state and my constituents to continue to do that. So Representative John Andrews, I will say, and I have a lot of respect for him, he chose not to follow the rules, and ethics came down yesterday. They actually broke to go to an ethics meeting, and John is not back in the building. So, and I respect what he did, but I didn't feel it was the right choice for me and my constituents at this time. So it was a tough call. I will tell you that. It was a tough call.
Well, you have to make those sometimes, but yeah. I know you give a great deal of thought to things. You don't necessarily think completely with a party. You think as an individual, which is not what the Democrats do. The Democrats are their allegiance to the party is more than their allegiance to the people, and that is the sad state we're in, both state and national.
It really is, and we saw that on a number of bills yesterday. So yesterday morning, they jumped all around the calendar yesterday. I actually missed the first couple of hours because I had to be in Bangor for a medical appointment.
Okay.
But nice of it, it's online, so I was able to listen to it, everything that was going on. And they jumped around the calendar yesterday and took up all of the governor's, all the bills about the governor's emergency powers. And every one of those bills came down party lines.
Of course.
The Democrats
voted
to leave all of her powers and do not want to even, I think they're abdicating their roles as a legislator by not having that checks and balances on the governor.
They are.
And,
they're giving their powers to one person.
Right, and they voted straight party. I mean, it was voted straight party lines on all those bills, and there was quite a few of them. And there's actually a couple more coming today because the Senate took some up. So one thing a lot of people don't realize as to how bills go to the Senate versus how they go to the House and when they do. So the basic rule is if a bill originates with a House member.
Yep.
So let's say I put in a bill. The bill that I put in as a House member will come to the House first before it goes to the Senate.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't realize that, which is why the House has so many bills initially to go through, because there's 151 House members.
Right. You have more members, yeah.
Right. So we have more members, so usually we have more bills, although, they are definitely getting a lot in the Senate. But so it originates in that body first. So yesterday we did have a lot. We've got a lot on the calendar for today. So we had a lot. So there are some bills coming from the Senate that some senators put in that deal with the governor's emergency powers too. I fully expect those to come down on party lines.
Right.
Because they voted ought not to pass, because again, the Senate is controlled by the Democrats.
Right, of course. Yep.
So those bills won't be going through. The surprising thing this was a surprising thing to me yesterday. So there was a bill that came in to give 16 and 17-year-olds, I'm sure you've probably heard this,
I've heard about that.
Yeah, the right to vote. Now, I am very glad that we did have Democrats cross over and vote with Republicans as a not to pass.
Oh, good. Wow.
Yeah, so it did not pass, but 66 Democrats voted to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, think about that. And here's my thought process of that. If you allow them to vote, then they should be able to sign a contract. So, hey, I want to sell them some cars.
Yeah, they should be able to carry a gun.
Exactly. And, the right to drink, the right,
Right.
all of these things.
Absolutely. Amen. And none of those are good ideas, by the way.
No.
So, yeah.
No,
so I hear what you're saying.
Why,
right.
So I will say that we are fortunate. There were some Democrats that crossed over and voted as a no on that particular bill. So
good.
That was an interesting thing. There were a lot of roll calls yesterday. There was one that I marked in my calendar because I wanted to tell you about it. And the bill was an act to ensure municipal compliance with federal immigration laws.
Oh.
The Democrats voted ought not to pass.
So that means, what Joe wants to do, the state accepts.
No, because what that actually means is that a municipality, a small town, can basically, they don't have to follow the federal immigration law.
Okay, so they can say, no, we're not going to accept anybody?
Well, no, what they can do, they can say that, but what they're saying, to me, what it says is that if somebody's there illegally, and because if they're there federally, if they're here federally illegally to begin with, they can say that you can't take our, this person, or this person can vote. It's kind of a slippery slope.
Wow. Okay.
For municipalities.
A little confusing.
It is confusing, and that's why some of these bills you really have to. I have to listen to my committee members because they sit through all the testimony.
Right.
And they, and they're like, no, this bill isn't what it sounds like it is. This is what it actually does. So the one thing I would tell folks out there is, if you listen to a title of a bill and you think, I can't believe the Republicans voted for this or voted against this, look at the bill a little more closely.
Okay.
Because sometimes the title can actually put us in a bad spot with our constituents, even though we voted the way we did because it was a bad bill, or it's really not what the title says it is.
Okay.
And that's something that folks have to understand. If you think that, if you go, I can't believe Shelley voted for this bill, look at the bill, because there's probably a good reason why I did what I did on some of that. Another one that, I believe in local control.
Right, of course. Everything. Yeah, absolutely.
And there was a bill that came in, an act to prohibit municipalities from prohibiting short-term rentals. And that was
I'm sorry.
Not to pass.
Representative Rudnicki, hold on just a second. Representative Shelley Rudnicki, by the way, District 108, Smithfield, Fairfield, Norwich Walk. Now I didn't get what you said. It's to prohibit. I've got a hearing. My ear is infected, and I'm having a hard time hearing things.
It's to prohibit municipalities from prohibiting short-term rentals. So it basically says that my town in Fairfield,
right,
can go ahead and prohibit any short-term rentals. So they can't do Airbnbs.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And that particular bill is interesting because it's about a local control thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things, when you look at the titles, you need to check on it a little, it needs to be checked on a little bit more.
Yeah, apparently.
So they're basically taking control away from the municipalities to say what happens in their town. But that's what it sounds like it's saying. What it's actually doing is allowing a municipality to say you can't turn your property into an Airbnb or let somebody. So you got to look at, you got to look at the bill. And that's kind of what I'd like to get across to your listeners is don't just assume by the title what it really is. Now, there's a lot of them by the titles, you can tell.
Sure.
But there are a lot of bills that it's really difficult to tell what it is. So if you have a representative that voted up for something that you don't really know what the bill is, but the title throws you off, definitely look into it.
Okay.
Because there is some thought behind this.
Wow.
So there's all kinds of things. I think the legislator is abdicating their responsibility on things like joining a multi-state compact, where one of the bills that came before us yesterday, and I think there's a similar one that's coming before us today, that says the governor can't just join a multi-state compact. She's got to come before the legislature to do it.
Now,
I think that's a good thing.
That sounds like a good idea.
Right. Democrats didn't think so. They voted 79 to 58.
What? Now they don't think so now, but if Paul LePage wins the next election, they will want to redo that.
Oh, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
exactly. So this is some of the crazy stuff we've been dealing with, and that we've still got a lot of bills. Today we have, I think, almost 54 divided reports. So there'll be a lot of that going on today. So much of it it's frustrating because we sit there and it's almost like, is it going to pass? We can tell, we know it's not going to pass, or we know it's going to pass. And we don't have any, don't have any real say. And I think that's why people were disappointed that I didn't, go against the rules yesterday. But I have enough of a say that we hope that we can actually persuade people and we can stop emergency bills, and we can get roll calls and get people on the record on how they actually vote. We have a lot of gun bills coming up today.
Oh, really? Again. Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the gun bills that we dealt with in committee, that even though in committee the majority maybe voted ought not to pass on them, and we actually pulled some Democrats to our side. When it comes to the House floor, they can put forth the minority report. And if that's the case, it's a gun bill that needs to be voted on, and we have to do a roll call. And who knows how the House is going to go with those.
Do we know what some of the bills are, what they do?
Yeah, some of these that I had spoken to you about before. Let me see. I just talking about some of them in committee, and it looks like they may table them. That's the thought process. And if they table them, it's because they don't want to go on the record right away. They may put it through later on. The Act to requiring background checks for firearm sales, they already do. You know that.
Yeah,
of course. You buy a gun. But what they want is, either, if I remember this bill correctly, and I could be off, but if I remember this particular bill correctly, it would actually, if I sold you a gun, John, we have to get a background check.
Right. Or if I lent you a gun.
Right.
Yeah.
So that right now we know is being tabled.
Well, good.
And they have a child endangerment law bill for unauthorized access to a loaded firearm. I believe it's going to be tabled. We actually voted a not to pass. The NRA was actually against this bill, and it's again, just because of the title doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means.
Right. Now, is this done? Do they title these bills to be purposefully deceiving, or is it just?
Well, I guess that's a matter of opinion.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was wondering about, because some legislators are going to take it at face value and not want to read through the whole thing because for whatever reason, I'm sure.
Well, part of this, and I, again, is why we caucus.
Right.
So that we can explain the bill to our colleagues, because there are so many bills. We can't keep track of everything. When we're looking at, 2,000 bills, there's just no way. So, it would be more than a full-time job to keep track of every one of these bills that comes to the legislature. And many of us have jobs and businesses at home that there's just no way we can do that. So having our caucus and being able to discuss them among ourselves gives us the opportunity so that we know what we're voting
Right.
on.
Now that makes sense. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when I entered the legislature, that was one thing I was concerned about. Like, how am I going to keep track of all these bills from all these committees? And that's when I learned about the caucus how that works. And I definitely am thankful for that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's quite the chore to do a lot of this, and we have a great staff in our offices that help and that will what do I want to say? They will look up things that we need. They do the research to help us out, and they follow up, especially when there's money involved. We have somebody that does the analysis and stuff like that for us as well. So. We are fortunate to have a great staff in our Republican office.
Good. Representative Shelley Rudnicki, District 108, Smithfield, Norridgewock, Fairfield. Corey.
Nope.
Smith.
It's not
Smith.
Norridgewock, it's Mercer.
Oh, Mercer. Oh, I'm sorry. I've done that
right.
twice. Well, Mercer's right next to Smith, Mercer, Norridgewock. So.
Yes.
Yesterday, Corey says yesterday in the legislature, Representative Dunphy voted to indefinitely not vote on ending the mask mandate wearing in the State House, but she was seen with no mask on.
There's actually two pictures that were taken. Taking pictures in the chamber of other members is against the rules.
Yeah.
I did not take these pictures,
Okay.
but the pictures are up there. Representative Dunphy is the majority party leader.
Okay.
And she actually voted to keep the mask mandate in place for legislators. And yesterday, Maine GOP actually have a picture. It's on their Maine GOP website of Representative Dunphy actually without mask, as well as pictures of Representative John Martin in the House chamber without a mask on. And then Representative Dunphy, yesterday afternoon, our minority leader, Representative Kathleen Dillingham, brought forth a joint order to remove the mask mandate for the House.
Yep.
And that went party line. Actually, I expected it to go party lines, but what actually happened is Representative Dunphy stood up and moved to table the issue indefinitely.
Wow.
And
Good
it went
grief.
party lines on the vote. You have to vote to table. And there's no discussion. Once a bill has been tabled or a motion to table has happened, there is no discussion. And so there was no discussion about it. She moved to table, and the vote came down party line, so it's been tabled indefinitely.
Unbelievable. So I've got to ask you, what?
Hypocritical is what it is.
Wow, hypocritical. Yeah, I guess it is. I've got to ask you, what percentage do you think of House members have been immunized?
I have no idea because I won't ask.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Good for you.
And if somebody asked me, I mean, I haven't said one way or another where I fall down on that. I think it's an individual choice. And I know that, from everything that I'm hearing and reading, that if you've had the virus, then you also are immune.
You're immune, yeah, and you shouldn't need the vaccine. Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to ask. My guess is probably the majority of the Democrats, and I do know because I have been told by members of my own party that have been immunized because they chose to share that.
Right.
I choose not to share it.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've talked about when I was with some of my colleagues is, they're like, if somebody asks me, I'm going to ask them when their last pap smear was, or I'm going to ask them the last time they had a colonoscopy. It's the same type of thing.
2 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same type of thing. It's your private medical information.
It is.
And
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
so that's how I look at it. So I'm not out there asking. And the fact that the Bangor Daily News actually last week sent us a questionnaire for us to fill out their survey on whether we've been vaccinated. That went in the trash.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, it's none of their business.
They wanted your name on the survey?
Yes.
Ha!
Yeah. They wanted the survey. They wanted because you know that they're going to know who it is.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So they sent every member a questionnaire.
Yeah.
About it.
I'm sure most of the Dems probably dutifully filled it out.
I know. I think I heard, was it on Mike's show yesterday, the day before, where he was actually talking to somebody. I think it was on Mike's show that they were actually, he was talking to somebody about that survey, and he said that he had 30 or 40 members actually responded.
Oh, no kidding. He didn't say what party responded most? I think we know.
Yeah, I don't remember him saying.
No,
I can't remember what it was.
I'll have to ask him. Interesting.
I think it was on Mike's show.
Yeah, it may have been. I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Find out.
So
wow.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We're here today. We're here today. We're off tomorrow, and then we're here all week next week. We have 5 days. We were here till 10:15 last night.
Wow, that's a long day.
And then we were back here at 8:00 this morning.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well,
so
you're doing the people's work, even though it's an uphill battle right now. 2022 is coming, so.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
and anybody that, is interested in running and they don't know where to start or what to do, please reach out to me, reach out to the House Republican office, reach out to Maine GOP. More than happy to steer them in the right direction if they're interested in running. Awesome.
You're awesome, Shelley. And I, as always, I appreciate your time and your insight. And thank you for doing the people's work on behalf of your constituents and all constituents in the state who aren't being listened to by certain people whose name I will not say. And I wish you the best of luck. We'll let you get back to your caucus. But good luck, and we look forward. If anything comes up, by all means, reach out. Reach out immediately if something big happens, especially something we can get engaged in and help with.
Okay, I'll certainly do that. Thank you, John.
All right, Representative Shelley Rudnicki, you have a great day there at the State House.
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.
What a great person. What a nice person. We're so fortunate to have people like her and Heidi Sampson and others in there. Sheila Lyman, who we talked with last week. Sheila Lyman, school teacher, talking about the bill that's going on to not allow teachers from seclusion or restraint. Democrats don't want to allow teachers. I remember when in school, a lot of you can remember the days too, when teachers routinely were laying their hands on students who were not behaving. I remember in second grade, we had this really, really troubled youth who was always, he was the guy you would look to do something bad every day, and without fail, he would. And the teachers would, and he'd get physical back with the teachers. I don't know what ever happened to him, to be honest with you. Second grade is all I remember, and that was but they would restrain him. They would hold him down. And I told you about my third grade teacher. Used to come up and shake people. She was about 90 years old at the time. So, she'd be about 160 today probably. And she would come up and she'd take these kids who weren't that big. I mean, we weren't that big in third grade, but she couldn't shake it. I mean, kids would laugh. It was very sad. I would laugh too back then, but in retrospect, it was very sad, disrespecting this elderly teacher who was just trying to keep kids in line. Yeah, I got shaken a couple of times by her. I feel terrible about it. If I could go back, I would do it differently, but I would still be a dumb third grader. Heck, I'm a dumb whatever. I'm not going to say my age or my grade on the radio.
We've got 10:32. Got to take a break. We'll be right back with a whole lot more. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Incense and Peppermints doesn't just have a huge selection of scrumptious candies. They have sweet treats that'll bring back wonderful memories every time you share them. Incense and Peppermints has candy that's fun for the whole family, like Jelly Bellies, Smarties, Turkish Taffy, Mellow Cups, Laffy Taffy, and Necco wafers. And candy that'll take you on a trip down memory lane, like old-fashioned penny candies, root beer barrels, atomic fireballs, Mary Jane's Bit of Honey, and Jawbreakers. They even carry Maine favorites like Moose Poop and Saltwater Taffy. Incense and Peppermints, 48 Main Street in downtown Waterville.
Spring is the time for renewal for both you and your home. So brighten your day and your surroundings with great items from Town Line Antiques. Do you love classic decor? You'll find furniture, artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more pieces around every corner. Their classic colors and styles will have you thinking spring and feeling invigorated every time you see them. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, classic electronics. Town Line Antiques has rare items that you won't find anywhere else. Town Line is also showcasing a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. Each piece is one of a kind with its own unique flair of colors and form. You'll simply have to see them to appreciate their beauty. And for everyone who loves to bring items back to life, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paints that give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday, 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy this morning with a slight chance for a light rain shower. Staying mostly cloudy today and a little cooler. Highs will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s, warmest inland. Partly sunny with a chance for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. 70s to near 80 degrees. Mostly sunny and warm this weekend with highs near 90 on Sunday.
Thank you very much, Lexi. 10:35 on Legacy 1160 WSKW, Maine's Heritage Station, proudly broadcasting at 1160 AM, Maine's biggest AM radio signal. And we are also on live stream. We've got a new app. You check it out, download it from the Play Store, Google Play. I guess they call it that. I have no idea. Google, get it at Google, get it at Apple. It is a Legacy 1160 app, and it's powered by Hardy, Wolf, and Downing, your personal law attorneys, your personal injury attorneys. And the videos are brought to you by Moody's Collision Center. And the audio at the website, which you can always get 24/7 as well, powered by Harry J. Smith Company on Sanger Avenue in Waterville. And there you have it. And here we go. How about Fauci? Woo, boy. And did he have an interview he didn't expect? Get a little combative. We'll get to that coming up. First of all, I don't know if we have any of our Florida crew still in there this morning. But if you're there, I would like to hear your thoughts on this next piece. Everybody in America knows Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. And I've got to tell you, based on his ad, when he was running for governor, he did an ad with his wife. And I saw the ad and I thought, oh my word, this is horrible. I thought that's the most horrible, poorly acted ad I ever saw in my life. Ron DeSantis and his wife. And I thought, wow, they don't stand it. He doesn't stand a chance. I don't remember if it was a primary ad or if it was a general election ad, but I thought, whew. Well, he got it. He won the election, and he is proven to be a real hero for the state of Florida, for the Sunshine State, or as we call it, the Gunshine State. The headline at Citizen Free Press yesterday read, Lockdown Marxist Nikki Fried announces plan to lose to Ron DeSantis. Now, I saw that and I was intrigued. So I listened to Nikki Fried's video and I laughed out loud. This woman talks as though she is going to save American democracy by taking the reins of one of the freest states in the nation. Yeah, I think you're going to think so too. Listen to this tripe. I've edited this a little bit, but here it is. It's hold on, I got to make sure I've got the right one. Yeah, okay, here it is. Here's Nikki Fried.
I'm Nikki Fried, and I'm here to break the rigged system in Florida. It's corrupt, it's anti-democratic, and it's time for something new.
What?
Like many of you, I've been underestimated my whole life. I was underestimated when I fought corruption as a public defender. I was underestimated when I took on the big banks during the foreclosure crisis to keep families in their homes. And I was underestimated in 2018 when I said a Democrat from Miami could be elected Commissioner of Agriculture. But we did it. We cracked the system and got to work, kicking the NRA out of gun licensing to keep our kids safe, restoring rights and confronting historic racism, protecting our farmers and food supply, and cleaning our environment and addressing the climate crisis. So just imagine what we could do if we break the whole rigged system.
The rigged system.
We can end 2 decades of corruption designed to block your will and your ballot on healthcare, wages, education, justice,
social justice,
the environment, marijuana,
pot,
and equality of opportunity. We can build a state that gives power back to you.
She wants to build a state that gives power back to you, Shannon, back to you, Alanie, back to you, Paul. Oh, you don't have any power. No, Ron DeSantis took all your power away. How dare he? What the hell is she talking about? Oh, my word. Yeah. Yeah, good luck to her, Alanie says. Oh, my word. That is craziness right there. She called DeSantis an authoritarian. Is that right? Really? An authoritarian? Yeah, I know. I picked that out too, Crystal. Break 2 decades of corruption. Does she mean when Florida went to Bush in 2000? I love these comments. All right. Now, another we have nothing but freedom and power here because our voices actually matter. Amen, Alanie. Amen. And Shannon posted a link. I can't click on it, but there it is. Yeah, sure. I'll put the sidebar up. It won't pick up the previous comments, but it'll pick up the comments going forward. So, all right. That made my whole day yesterday. I picked that up yesterday. It made my whole day. I couldn't believe that. Couldn't believe Nikki Fried. What tiny portion of Floridians is she actually speaking to there who feel they are being oppressed? They're not free. Let people make their own choice. Well, geez, I think Ron DeSantis did just that. That just goes to show you how out of touch the leftists are, that somebody like Nikki Fried can come along running for governor of Florida, and she can literally convince people on the left, who are very easy to convince, by the way, because they're ignorant mob followers. They're ignorant group thinkers. No critical thinking. It's all groupthink. So whatever the group says goes. So somebody like Nikki Fried can come into one of the freest states in America right now, Florida, and she can say, Ron DeSantis is keeping you down. He's an authoritarian.
And they believe it. They say, wow, I want to be free. I'm voting for Nikki Fried. See, you can't spell Fried without free. There's a campaign slogan, Nikki. You're welcome. Can't believe I'm not giving it to her. If you use that, if you say Florida needs to be freed, I'm telling you right now, if she uses that, one of you please let me know. There will be a lawsuit. You've heard it now. I came up with it. I came up with that slogan. It's a great slogan. It doesn't describe her, but it's a great slogan, if I do say so. Okay. I don't know where we go from that. Dr. Fauci is where we go from that. Anyway, the Republican Governors Association, getting back to Fried for a minute, they issued a statement saying no one is shocked by her decision to run for governor. They said Fried has a long slog. I love that word, slog. She has a long slog ahead of her. Despite her desperate attempts to stake a claim and clear the field earlier this year, Fried now has to convince Florida Democrats that she is worthy of their support, all while dodging questions about her personal and financial ties to industries she regulates. Grab your popcorn, because this one is going to be fun to watch. The Republican Party of Florida labeled Fried a lockdown lobbyist who, quote, tried to close Florida schools and attempted to overturn Governor DeSantis' executive order to get our kids back in the classroom. Says the woman who is going to make Floridians more free. Again, opposite world. This is opposite world. What they say is not what they say is the opposite of what they mean. Understand that? And you're going to have no problem understanding what the Democrats say, because whatever they say, it's the opposite. Like when Joe Biden says white supremacy is the problem and that Republicans are white supremacists, white people are white supremacists, it is the opposite. It is wrong. It is a lie. If you missed it, yes, Joe Biden said it. I'm going to let Joe Biden say it. Actually, I want you to hear what Joe Biden said yesterday. And wait a minute, I've got to make sure. I've got to make sure I've got the right cut here. And oh gosh, no, I don't know. Hold on, you've got to hear this. Here it is. Okay, here it is. I think this is the one right here.
Since January 20.
Oh, no, listen.
We're talking now about 15 months ago.
Okay, so he's been president for January 15 months ago. That was yesterday. And this is America's biggest problem, in case you had questions.
According to the intelligence community, terrorism from white supremacy is the most lethal threat to the homeland today.
Yeah.
Not ISIS, not Al-Qaeda, white supremacy.
Terrorists from white supremacists is the biggest threat to America today. Hello, the Democrats are the biggest threat. The Democrats are the biggest racists. The Democrats are the biggest supremacists. Hello, opposite land, opposite world. It doesn't ring true, none of it. None of it. Of course, this is a guy that's been president since January 20th, 15 months ago. Okay, Joe. All right, Joe, go take a nap. Nap time. Have a cup of Joe when you get up. Oh, see what I did there? 10:46. So Dr. Fauci, last night, oh, this is good. I love this. News Nation fill-in host, former Fox News guy, Leland Vittert, did something that Dr. Fauci didn't expect, because Nicole Wallace at MSNBC, CNN, they don't challenge him. Why would they challenge him? Not Dr. Fauci. He's King Fauci, or what, Supreme,
Yeah, King Fauci, I think, if you watched Tucker Carlson last night, great open. I'm not going to play it, but it's a great open. We'll give you everything you need to know. I can sum up everything Tucker said. I did ingest it. I did process it. And I think I can sum it up here in just a couple of words. Fauci lied. All right. Email dump. Yes, Dr. Fauci's emails have been revealed. Dr. Fauci is a liar. Liar, pants on fire. Poor doctor, poor Tony. So last night, Leland Vittert did something few national outlets have done. And he challenged Dr. Tony Fauci. He focused on the dump of thousands of Fauci's emails from the early days of the coronavirus. Showed a lack of judgment, but it also showed lies. It showed distrust of masks and almost blind trust in communist China, which contains the lab that he funded gain of function research in. Now, these are all true facts. These are all provable facts. You know who's not talking about it? You know who is literally, you know who the dumb people are right now in this country when it comes to what's going on in the NIH with Dr. Fauci and China? The left, who watches CNN and MSNBC and the other news outlets. I'm not sure about all the, the alphabet networks, but CNN, MSNBC, not covering it. Not much. Not covering, not telling you what's in the, no, because they suppress the facts because they have an agenda. Trust me, Chuck Todd, Wolf Blitzer, Morning Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski, Nicole Wallace, they all have an agenda. And their agenda is to protect Fauci and the Democrats at all costs. They are God. So they lie by omission. So as has been the case, whenever Fauci's been challenged, he reacts with a combination of anger, annoyance, dismissal, and disgust. Now, according to Newsbusters, one of the things in the emails is masks don't work. That's Fauci. Hey, look, I'm telling you what Dr. Fauci said. In fact, why don't we let you hear some of the interview here? This is Leland Vittert, and he's challenging Dr. Fauci last night. Let's give it a listen.
Are there any you wish you would have sent or things you wish you would have said over the past year that you didn't?
No, not necessarily. The only trouble is they are really ripe to be taken out of context, where someone can snip out a sentence in an email without showing the other emails.
A couple of these that are going around the internet, maybe you could provide that context for us. This from you about masks. The typical mask you buy in the drugstore is not really effective in keeping out the virus, which is small enough to pass through the material. Conceivably, even cloth masks allow even more things through. Were you incorrect then? I'm trying to understand the evolution of that. Other than taking the Chinese word for it, do we have any idea on what's going on inside the Wuhan lab or what went on inside the Wuhan lab?
Well, again, let's put things in context. The scientists in the Wuhan lab for years and years, among other credible, trusted scientists in China. We're not talking about the Communist Chinese Party. We're not talking about the Chinese military.
Of course we are.
We're talking about scientists that we've had relationships for years.
I guess what I'm hearing from you is we should just trust the Chinese when they say, the military has nothing to do with this. We should believe them.
No, what I'm saying is that we have very many years of experience of productive interaction with Chinese scientists.
Doctor, I'm not disputing that you had great work with them, but what I'm trying to get at is that all of the comments that were made about what happened inside that lab are based essentially on taking the Chinese word for it. No matter how good your experiences were over years or decades, it seems pretty clear that the Chinese lied about a number of things related to the coronavirus. We can all agree about that. And I'm wondering now, how can the American people be assured as we look at this that, for example, the money that went to the Wuhan lab didn't end up being used by the Chinese military? It seems as though you can't say that for certain.
Well, can we again, with due respect, put things into perspective? The Wuhan lab is a very large lab to the tune of hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion. Right. So now you making extrapolation that we sent in.
No, sir. I'm not making any extrapolation. No, sir. I'm not making any extrapolation. I'm simply saying the fact of the matter is that so much of what we were told as Americans about what we knew from the Chinese was based simply on taking their word.
Right.
That's fair. Okay.
Right.
And based on that, we really have no idea who the scientists were in the lab.
We have no idea who the scientists were in that lab. No idea who they were. We have no idea the Chinese Communist Party's involvement. They are involved in everything, especially when it comes to something that can be used as a bioweapon. I have not put this to bed, and I won't, that this was probably, and I'm going to conflate the CCP and the lab here, that this was not a Chinese military project to create a bioweapon in the lab. And now even mainstream media has had to come out with egg on their face, as John Carl said on ABC the other day, because they didn't want, because, quote, I'm paraphrasing, but this is a quote, because they couldn't believe Trump when he suggested it could come from the lab because he was racist with Wuhan flu and Kung flu. What? No, they didn't give Trump the time of day because they didn't want to say he might be right. And because they wouldn't do that, they are the ones looking foolish. That's why they have egg on their face, because they couldn't bring themselves to say that this sitting president, who had 20 times, his head compared to Joe Biden's brain, I mean, you could literally yell in Joe Biden's ear and put your ear up to his ear and get an echo back. Donald Trump was so much smarter than Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is being compared to Trump. It's like Joe Biden to the Democrats is a frickin' Einstein. When he is an empty vessel, they would not, and this is mainstream media and the Democrats, by the way, would not give Trump the time of day. A lot of what Donald Trump said was right and could have saved God knows how many lives. I go back to hydroxychloroquine. How many lives could have been saved? Could my friends have been saved if Donald Trump had not been just excoriated by mainstream media? We don't know. We'll never know. But they made fun of everything he said, up to and including when he said, well, maybe you ought to put some of the disinfectant, maybe they ought to try injecting that into you. And he said it as a joke, and they made it sound like he was, they said he's telling people to put bleach into their arms. That's how much they hated him. That is how much they hated President Donald J. Trump. They are deplorable. This media is deplorable. Leland Vitter, right there. Great job. Now, you heard him talk about the email where said the masks you buy at stores, the cloth masks, not effective at containing the virus. But you notice, even after people are vaccinated, Dr. Fauci was saying, well, you should still wear it. Yeah, you should still wear your mask. Still wear your mask. Double mask. Triple mask. Quadruple mask. Mask. And he didn't believe in masks. He didn't believe they helped. But you remember when Rand Paul called it theater, that is wearing masks after you're vaccinated, which Dr. Fauci at the time was advocating for. When Rand Paul called it theater, Fauci got angry. Remember this?
You want to get rid of vaccine hesitancy? Tell them they can quit wearing their mask after they get the vaccine. You want people to get the vaccine? Give them a reward instead of telling them that the nanny state's going to be there for 3 more years and you got to wear a mask forever. People don't want to hear it. There's no science behind it.
Well, let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Masks are protective. And we
have immunity there, theater. If you already have immunity, you're wearing a mask to give comfort to others. You're not wearing a mask because of any science.
I totally disagree with you.
Totally disagree. I totally disagree with you. Dr. Fauci is more interested in politics surrounding COVID than being truthful about the medical information itself. And he is the guy America's supposed to be listening to for guidance? Really? Huh. All right, we got to take a break here. Jim, I will read. Jim and Max have posted a couple of longer pieces on the stream. So I will read those. Jim, yours look very interesting. The first two, I see Max's first 2 words are the dumbass. So I can't wait to read this too. We are Legacy 1160 WSKW. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally, powered by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
It's a new year. Aren't you tired of walking over the same beaten up old flooring? It's time you installed a new floor that offers premium durability by contacting HT Winters about their line of Tarkett Pro Gen tile and wood flooring. Tarkett is designed to stand strong in all seasons against water, dirt, and sunlight. The best way to improve your home this winter is to install Tarkett Pro Gen tile and wood flooring. HT Winters, 43 Bay Street in Winslow, and online at htwintersflooring.com.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy this morning with a slight chance for a light rain shower. Staying mostly cloudy today and a little cooler. Highs will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s, warmest inland. Partly sunny with a chance for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. 70s to near 80 degrees. Mostly sunny and warm this weekend with highs near 90 on Sunday.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. The Labor Department announces fewer Americans filed for first-time unemployment benefits last week, down to 385,000. That's the lowest number since the pandemic began. The White House is making a renewed push this month to get more Americans vaccinated. ABC's Stephanie Ramos says President Biden's announcing a series of new initiatives to expand access.
There is an entire list of rewards for people who get their COVID vaccine. The White House partnering with businesses across the country, trying to encourage people who are not yet vaccinated to get it done. The president reminding them they are still at risk without it.
Online investors are again driving up the price of AMC Entertainment. The theater company's stock price has doubled in the past 48 hours, boosted by small investors gathering on Reddit. Following up on an ABC News investigation, the NFL has pledged to eliminate race norming and evaluating claims in its billion-dollar concussion settlement with retired players. This is ABC News. U.S. workers are getting more work done. The Labor Department says productivity growth hit nearly 5.5% in the first 3 months of the year, a turnaround from the quarter before when productivity fell by nearly 4%. And a TV baseball announcer is now apologizing after one of his calls has been criticized as carrying racist overtones. ABC's Chuck Severson has the story.
Bob Brenly, who calls Diamondbacks games for Bally Sports Arizona, made a crack about Mets pitcher Marcus Stroman's head covering during Tuesday night's game. Stroman is black, Brenly's white.
Pretty sure that's the same do-rag that Tom Seaver used to wear when he pitched for the Mets.
After the game, Stroman tweeted, "Onward and upward through all adversity and racist undertones." Mets manager Luis Rojas.
If it was like a joke or something, it was like I didn't get it.
And
it's completely inappropriate.
He is not alone in those opinions. Brenly's apologized. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
And I'm Jim Ryan, ABC News.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part? Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
All right, listen up, people. Sean Avery here. If you enjoy alcohol, chances are at some point you've been hungover, torn up, in the Hurt Locker. Well, here's a little secret. Goodies Hangover Powder relieves pain fast, helps wake you up, and it tastes good. I'm not kidding around. You got a case of ginfluenza, bourbonitis? No problem. Get Goodies Hangover Powder. Real medicine for real hangovers.
Goodies Hangover, aspirin and caffeine in powder form. Place on tongue and take with water. Hangover responsibly. Find it at Walmart.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
What's important here in the movies is we have a lot of opportunities for movies.
All right, hang in there with me. Okay, welcome back. Legacy 1160 WSKW. John James here. Freedom's Pep Rally brought to you by the Gun Shop on Coney Circle in Augusta. So, yeah, I was reading some of what Jim was saying there, and I haven't really been able to digest it all. But, yeah, Dr. Fauci has been sort of a sketchy character, and you're right. What was it back during the Obama administration? It was he. I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Dr. Fauci. I think that's what you said, Jim. Dr. Fauci was saying that we could expect some sort of a pandemic in the next few years. I think it was during the Obama. I don't even remember the timeline of it now, but I remember thinking, wow, he really said that. He really said that before COVID-19. I mean, that alone. I mean, is he a prophet? Do people treat him like a prophet? So, yeah, they were so fond of saying, Donald Trump lied, people died. I know, Dr. Fauci lied, people died. I think that's more to the point. 11:06 right now, and we were left yesterday talking about wokeism and what it's doing to our country, what it's doing to our people, what it's doing to our kids. And we're going to continue that. I've got more stuff today, and plus I've got a piece from Ben Shapiro I want you to hear because he really lays out how we need to fight this. Now, a 9-year-old, this is from California, and it's not surprising because and by the way, I found something interesting on California here this morning. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'd like to read you a little bit of it. I don't. Okay, I must have left the page. But there are so many Democrat states, Democrat leaders now, who are saying here it is right here. It's from it's from the Blaze. I'll read you a little bit of the article. The headline is Golden State Gulag, California's pursuit of communism is a warning for America. And I mean, say what you want to. That's where California's headed. Ever since Jerry Brown left and Czar or Führer, if you will, Gavin Newsom became governor, dictator, they've continued this decline at a very high rate of speed. Now they're trying to get rid of Newsom, and they may end up with Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. We don't know. California has gone to hell. This is the article. California has gone to hell. These are all truths, by the way. And by the way, this is where the incestuous rule has been going on for many, many years. Incestuous. I kid you not. I mean, Jerry Brown, Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi. I mean, these people, there are familial relations here. This is all but J.P. Morgan. There are a ton of them. It's like not only single party rule, but it's single family rule. They're connected by family in some way, either aunts, cousins, uncles. It's nauseating. But dumb Californians keep electing him because they keep making promises, which, by the way, they never keep. California has gone to hell, says the article. Homelessness and violence have spiked. Civil liberties and businesses have been destroyed, all in the name of COVID safety. Children have been brainwashed with racist critical race theory, and yet Democrats want to use California as the test model for the entire country. Your state and your town are next. They want their failure to become your future. And this is what you need to hear. You need to embrace it. You need to believe it. You need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid. You need to keep following the Democratic shepherd. You are not a sheep. You are an individual. Start thinking like an individual. And there's a video that goes along with this. Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report moved to Los Angeles about a decade. In that time, he watched it descend into absolute chaos. And if you want to watch the video, it's at theblaze.com. I haven't seen the video yet. I read the headline, I read the story, and I thought, wow, how telling is this? Now, to show you just how this dovetails nicely into this next story, and then we've got a lot more I want to get to, too. A 9-year-old third grade boy. Okay, keep those two things in mind. 9 years old, he's in third grade. He just brought home a school assignment that talked about sexism and the gender spectrum. How about the times tables, third grade? How about some more advanced, how about, maybe start looking at some Harry Potter books or some chapter books in third grade? How about learning how to write sentences and punctuation in third grade? Now, this is rearing its ugly head in other parts of the country, including in southern Maine, at least in southern Maine, maybe more parts of Maine, as we know. But this kid brings home homework on sexism and the gender spectrum. Dad, Matthew Simmons, that's his name. Matthew Simmons is the dad. Don't have the kid's name here. He's very concerned, says he doesn't want his son's childhood whittled away. Now they live in Southern California, SoCal. His third grade son and sixth grade daughter attend public school in the Los Alamos Alamitos. I don't know how to say that. It's not Alamitos, Los Alamitos School District. It's about 25 miles south of L.A. In mid-May, a teacher gave this guy's son a homework assignment to write an essay arguing against school uniforms. The teacher provided students with examples of pro and con arguments. Con 3 said school uniforms may be sexist and discussed how uniforms might affect a student, quote, unsure of their place on the gender spectrum. Third grade. All right, here's the gender spectrum. Take notes. Take notes. This is very complicated. Here is John James' gender spectrum. Boy, girl, period. Well, that's a little non-inclusive. Science, which they don't teach, apparently. The assignment reads, quote, some uniforms may strike students and parents as sexist. For example, if a uniform requires girls to wear a skirt and pants are not allowed, some students and parents may object, leading to a conflict with the administration. Not all girls want to wear skirts, and some may resent being told to wear traditionally feminine garments. Also, if a student is unsure of their place on the gender spectrum or is experimenting with different forms of gender presentation, school uniforms can present a real challenge. Okay, so your first, second, third grader, you think they might be experimenting with different forms of gender presentation? That can be hurtful. All right, again, I want to go over this first, my first lesson for today. We'll have a test tomorrow. John James, gender spectrum. Boy, girl, period. At that age, boy, girl. Or we're going to, get ready, we're going to mix it up here. Girl, boy, ladies first. Oh, that's sexist. That's misogynist. Guilty. So a 9-year-old is supposed to get that. They're supposed to understand that. An innocent 9-year-old third grader who probably is going to go out and ride their bike after school or play with their friends in the sandbox after school or do something similar after school is supposed to get that? No, clearly a bunch of leftist woke adults who are brain damaged came up with the curricula. Now, in all fairness, this dad does not fault his son's teacher for the gender ideology assignment, but he sees her as a victim of a school board that is pushing its own agenda. He did not reveal the teacher's name. But I'm sorry, I would hold the teacher somewhat accountable, because if Johnny James was a teacher in school and I was told this is what you have to do, this is the curriculum you have to teach, these are the assignments you have to give out, Johnny James would be on the unemployment line really, really quick, because morals, letting children be children, letting them learn what they need to learn at that age. Is it any wonder kids are coming out of school more stupid than they did 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago or more? Literally. And then they're literally being indoctrinated from kindergarten on as soon as public education, not in all cases, but in many cases, as soon as public education gets their hands on the kid, it begins. And Before you know it, it's all over. I mean, if you can indoctrinate a kid in 3rd grade, if you can do it before they even get to college, wow, you're raising a good little Democratic voter, aren't you? That's my opinion. So the 5-member Los Alamitos Board of Education approves the curriculum teachers use, providing a menu of assignment options for the teachers to choose from. So the dad said, this is bigger than just conservatives and liberals. This is something that, with the internet and YouTube and all this stuff, it's a tough battle parents have anyway. But knowing the school is creating its own pathway to our children where we cannot even protect them, it's really difficult. Okay, so I get what the dad is saying. I understand he doesn't like the assignments. He doesn't like what the school board's doing. Then do something, Dad. I get that you're frustrated. I get that this is wrong. We're on the same page there. But to dismiss that, well, the teacher, is not her fault. Oh, I can't do anything about it. My kids learn. Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you know this is happening, you've got to do something. You can't let it happen if you know it's happening. If you are a caring parent, you cannot let it continue. What do? You can't afford a private? I don't know. I do not know. But you can't give your child to the state. You cannot do it. You cannot let them be brainwashed by the state. Other parents have complained to the school district leaders about some assignments given to children, according to Simmons, the dad. From the principals to the superintendent to the school board, we are not getting a very positive response at all. I love this. Don't you love, and some of these school board members don't even have kids in school, I'm sure. They may not even have kids, period. They are resentful that we even bring it up. How dare you question our authority to know what is right for your child? Disgusting. Then let's stop it. Trans athletes, there's another one. There's another big one. I'm telling you, I am not prejudiced. I am not unfair to human beings. I've often said and continue to say, I like nice people. Don't tell me I have to see color. Don't tell me I have to see sexual orientation. Don't tell me I have to see cisgender versus transgender. Cisgender means you're a heterosexual girl or boy, I guess. When I was a kid, it was just girl or boy, but now there's a word, it's cisgender. I learned this not too long ago. There's another lesson for you today if you did not know. So MSNBC, the geniuses over at MSNBC, the woke geniuses, they aren't interested in debate or alternative points of view. So 2 days ago on Wednesday, hosts Joe and Mika on the Morning Joe, along with Willie Geist. Oh, we love Willie Geist. He's the host of Sunday Today. Such a nice guy, such an objective guy. Willie Geist is in the pockets of the leftists. He just sits there and smiles, bobbing his head. Every once in a while, he'll say, yeah, whatever, yeah. Willie Geist is no friend of objectivity or anybody other than the radical leftists. He just has that calming demeanor that makes you want to squeeze his cheeks. So anyway, Wednesday rather, they had Alfonso David, who is the president of the Human Rights Campaign. He was on, and his sole purpose was to bash Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, for signing the bill to protect women's sports. And according to David, DeSantis is only doing this for political gain. What? Maybe Ron DeSantis just believes in equal rights for women and girls. Because women and girls deserve equal rights. They deserve the right to compete with other girls and women with similar talents to make something of themselves. Now, you want to muddy the water? You put a 6'2" transgendered girl with a beard in the race, and you watch it all go to hell. Selena Sol did. So did Chelsea. I forget her last name. Both from Connecticut. Ha! What did they lose out on? Oh, who cares? Who cares? We're virtuous. We let transgenders run with them. What is the cost of that? So anyway, here's this guy. His name is Alfonso David. And DeSantis only did it for political gain, says Alfonso. Listen, as this woke hack tells us about science, and by the way, stay with me on this. I've got some science for you. I've got some science you're in denial about. They're in science denial, okay? The left is in science denial about almost everything. Everything. They say science, they don't mean it. They are anti-science. But it sounds good, and people believe them when they say, oh, self-righteously, we believe we're the party of science. We believe in science. Lie. It's a lie. So this woke hack is going to tell us about science and scientists who say there is no difference between female athletes and transgender female athletes. Listen and learn from the very worst.
Yesterday, Governor DeSantis signed a bill into law that would ban transgender female athletes from participating in sports consistent with their gender identity. Now, you would ask, why is he doing this?
I wouldn't ask.
He's doing this for political gain.
Because he cares about girls.
All of the medical associations, American Medical Association, American Psychological Association.
Yeah, we trust the medical field.
These bills. It's not based on science. And yet, he's advancing this bill and has now signed this bill, which is blatantly unlawful.
Science.
It's arbitrary and it's based on bias. So we're suing him. And we're bringing him and the state of Florida to court.
Oh, shut up. Shut your stupid, idiotic, non-science believing mouth. Wait, I've got you covered here. I've got you covered with science in just a minute. So here are the type of softball questions co-host Willie Geist. Willie, you know Willie, the good guy on the Sunday Today? Willie's a nice boy. Here are some of the questions Geist asked. So let's talk about what's exactly, just so people understand, what's inside the bill. What does it do practically? And how would it affect athletes in the state of Florida? Okay, Willie. Wow, way to play hardball with those guests. Don't want to offend the guests. They have a political agenda, and so does MSNBC. So we have to stay on their good side, or we won't get them back. Well, their ratings are going to hell. They might as well try something different. Now, in addition to the Human Rights Campaign, other groups are going after DeSantis in Florida, including the ACLU, naturally, and the NCAA, naturally. Now, if you're a college woman and you've got transgender athletes playing against you, but now what if the UConn women start? And I don't follow. I know the UConn women are phenomenal, have been for many, many years. When it comes to women's basketball, UConn, unbelievable. So now, what if UConn plays some small, usually not top-tiered college that now sees an opportunity with the NCAA, and their state doesn't ban it, so they bring transgender basketball players onto their team. 6'4", 7'2", 6'8", and they play basketball again. What is UConn going to say? Bring it. The UConn women going to say, bring it? Now, say you've got to assume that UConn does not have any transgender basketball players. Or if they do, they're not quite as good as the other schools' transgender. What do you think is going to happen when UConn starts losing, the UConn women start losing game after game after game after game? All hell is going to break loose in Connecticut, which is, coincidentally, where Selena Soule and this lawsuit stems from that we're going to be talking about. But all eyes were focused on Ron DeSantis and Florida the other day. In fact, Selena Soule from Connecticut was actually there when he signed the bill. In fact, here's what he said. Now we all know if it affects athletes in all places that something's going to happen. I mean, there are places like Maine that don't have any laws on the books. There are a bunch of states that do not allow transgendered women to play with women and girls on teams. But Maine and many, many more don't have laws on the books yet. And we won't until Mills is out of office or we get rid of our leftist legislature. Here's what Governor DeSantis said on Monday as he signed the bill into law. He was at a private school in Jacksonville. This is Governor Ron DeSantis.
First of all, it's not a message to anything other than saying we're going to protect fairness in women's sports.
Right.
We believe that it's important to have integrity in the competition, and we think it's important that they're able to compete on a level playing field. And you've seen what's happened when you don't have.
Yeah, you go. See, it's fair to women and girls. Feminists, women's rights advocates, where are you? Car 54, where are you? Where are you? Again, here is my gender spectrum. I'm going to expand on it a little bit from before now. Boys, girls, period. Men, women, period. Now, I realize there are all sorts of different sexual orientations. I don't understand it, but I do get that there are, is what I'm saying. You got pansexual, you got transsexual, you've got, I'm sorry, I haven't brushed up on my different sexual orientations. So, okay, all those are fine, right? Okay, if you're a woman who feels like a man sometimes and sometimes feels bisexual or you sometimes want to have a menage, okay, but at the end of the day, you're still a woman. You're still a biological woman at the end of the day. The only place that I can see that this comes into play right now, I'm sure they'll expand it somehow, some way, is with transgendered girls. How come there is not this outcry for transgendered males? Why have we not seen this on the other side of the spectrum? Because transgendered males aren't going to make the team. Because physically, when it comes to running, when it comes to jumping, when it comes to muscular build, men have the advantage. Boys have the advantage. Not because I'm a misogynist or because I don't like women, but because science. There again, there's that word again, science. Now, in addition to the stuff we've been talking about that Morning Joe has done, They don't seem to grasp the fact that there are biological differences between boys and girls and men and women. Selena Soule, who I've been talking about, she's from Connecticut. She lost athletic opportunities due to having to compete against biological boys. She and other female athletes in Connecticut filed a lawsuit with Alliance Defending Freedom against Connecticut Association of Schools for allowing biological males to compete in women's sports. Soule joined DeSantis when the bill was signed in Jacksonville the other day, cheering it on, wishing Connecticut would do the same. She might be in a different place in life right now if she didn't have to compete against boys in her girls' sports. Now, I don't know if you've heard this. I want you to listen to this. If you haven't heard this, hear it from Selena Soule. She was a champion. She was a champion in the state before she was beaten by biological males. And they say there is no difference. There's a hell of a big difference. She was tops in the state. Selena Soule, here's a piece she did for PragerU. Give this a listen.
I've been training to be a championship sprinter since I was 8 years old. With the help of my parents, my coaches, and my teammates, I did it. By sophomore year of high school in 2018, I was one of the top 5 female high school sprinters in Connecticut. But then, one day, I wasn't. At the state championships that year, 2 people passed me, passed all of us girls, literally. They finished first and second in our races, dominating the field. Were they more motivated? Did they train harder? I don't think so. But they did have an edge, a big one we couldn't match. They were biological boys who said they were transgender girls. Do you think that's fair? Males competing against females? Before you make up your mind, let me tell you a bit about what it took for me to become a top female sprinter. It meant training with my team every day after school for at least 2 hours, working to shave fractions of a second off of my time in the 100 and 200 meter dash. It meant not hanging out after school or going out with friends on the weekends. It meant getting up early every Saturday morning and competing all day at a meet. It meant not indulging in any of the things that might cost me my dream. And here's the thing about the 2 biological males that took the top 2 girls' medals in the state of Connecticut. Their times were not even good enough to qualify them to compete in the state championships on the boys' team. Let me say that again in case you missed it. Their times were not good enough to qualify them for the boys' state championships. But 2 years in a row, they won first and second place competing against the girls. All in all, these 2 biological males won 15 women's state championship titles. Some in the media have accused me of being a sore loser. They tell me to run harder. But the biological changes that males go through during puberty are so significant, they gain an insurmountable advantage in strength and in speed. That's why boys always competed against boys and girls against girls. U.S. runner Allison Felix is an inspiration to me. She's the fastest female sprinter in the world. Her lifetime best for the 400 meters is 49.26 seconds. But based on 2018 data, nearly 300 high school boys in the U.S. alone could beat that record. What we are talking about then is not just boys taking women's trophies, though they are. And we aren't talking about biological boys taking women's athletic scholarships, though they'll do that too. When biological boys are allowed to compete against girls in sports like track, where the differences in performance are so great, we are talking about girls getting shut out, never getting the chance to win or even compete at all. When 2 biological boys took the first and second place spots against me in the 2019 Indoor State Championship, I lost the opportunity to participate at the New England Championships. I lost the chance to be scouted by top coaches, possibly even to win scholarships. Right now, biological boys are being allowed to set records on the girls' team, deleting girls' records, erasing the achievements of actual girls, and setting a standard probably no girl can meet, no matter how much she trains or how hard she tries. The reason that we have girls' sports in the first place is to give female athletes with talent, hard work, and dedication an equal opportunity to shine and be recognized. But girls will never have that opportunity if they are forced to compete with biological boys in sports like track and field, softball, volleyball, or basketball. Women fought too hard for too long so girls like me can have the opportunity to compete on a level playing field. Maybe worst of all, when girls try to object, when we point out the truth that biological differences in strength and speed between boys and girls are massive and real, we're called bigots.
Yep.
Administrators, teachers, coaches, and other students tell us to just keep quiet and take it. We are told a girl's place is to be seen and not heard. Well, we won't be silenced.
Good.
We are fighting back. With 2 other top female runners in Connecticut, I have filed a federal lawsuit under Title IX to protect the rights of women and girls to a fair competition on a level playing field. Please don't turn your backs on us, America. This isn't about gender identity. It's about fair play. I'm Selena Soul for Prager University.
That was a great explanation of what's going on. It's pure science. It's pure truth. It's pure reality. The left does not truly care about girls and women. They truly don't. See, they lie at every turn. How can they say, oh, we care, women are being discriminated against. We care, we care, we care. We care about girls and women. Stop being so misogynistic, President Trump. And then they turn around and they allow women's sports to be infiltrated by transgendered males. I'm sorry. They are not women. Biologically, they are not, they can't be, they won't be. God made them a gender, and that's what they will live and die with, regardless of what you do to their bodies with hormones, with surgery, with anything else. So don't let the left tell you what, don't even let them float the idea that they care about women. They don't. They care about control and status and virtue, and that's all they care about. They could care less about people like Selena Soul, a real aspiring young woman who could have been more than she was able to if she was only allowed to compete with other girls. One of the top 4 or 5 runners in Connecticut. Out the window as soon as they brought transgenders in. Both transgenders beat her. Both of them. Only the transgenders beat her. No, there's no difference. No difference. Lie. They lie. They open their mouth. They're lying. Don't buy it for a second. You're smarter than that. There is science behind it, too, by the way. I'll share that with you coming up. Stick around. I'm John James. This is Freedom's Pep Rally.
Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Spring is the time of renewal for both you and your home. So brighten your day and your surroundings with great items from Townline Antiques. Do you love classic decor? You'll find furniture, artwork, glassware, signs, and hundreds more pieces around every corner. Their classic colors and styles will have you thinking spring and feeling invigorated every time you see them. Or maybe you enjoy collecting books, comics, coins, sports memorabilia, watches, or classic electronics. Townline Antiques has rare items that you won't find anywhere else. Townline is also showcasing a new display of art glass that's absolutely dazzling. Each piece is one of a kind with its own unique flair of colors and form. You simply have to see them to appreciate their beauty. And for everyone who loves to bring items back to life, they're now carrying high-quality fusion mineral paints that give you beautiful color and a durable, long-lasting finish. Townline Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade is constantly changing and there's always new challenges that arise.
I definitely feel like an owner. It's very exciting.
When you like what you do, you like your job, you like the people you work with, what else could you ask for?
Bring your skills to Moody's and build a long-term future with us.
Legacy 1160 AM presents the brand new Legacy app. Now you can listen to WSKW wherever you are. Just download the brand new Legacy app at the Android or Apple Store or get the links at legacy1160.com. The brand new Legacy app, brought to you by Hardy, Wolf & Downing, Maine's injury lawyers. Call 1-800-INJURED or visit online at hardywolf.com.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Mostly cloudy this morning with a slight chance for a light rain shower. Staying mostly cloudy today and a little cooler. Highs will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s. Warmest inland. Partly sunny with a chance for an afternoon.
Huh. Well, that was odd. Gotta check to make sure we're still on. I guess we are. All right. I have no idea what happened there. We lost our stream for a second. All right, we're back. Legacy time right now, 11:42. And science. I told you I'd have some science for you, and I would not tell a lie. I will not tell a lie. So here is some science regarding transgenders in girls' sports. Why are you always picking on transgendered people? I'm not. I don't believe in picking on anybody. I'm not a bully. I will not. But, again, when you infringe on somebody else's rights, the gloves come off. Stay out of things you ought not be in, and you aren't going to get picked on. You start to infiltrate things you don't belong, then, as I say, the gloves are off. Bring it. All right. Now, according to an article at Springer.com, which is a website dealing with medical and psychology fields, there's a big difference between biological females and transgendered females. This, by the way, is science. This piece written by Dr. Emma Hilton, who specializes in biology, medicine, and health, and Tommy Lundberg, PhD, Karolinska Institute, Department of Laboratory Medicine. So they're pretty well credentialed. And here's the article. It's not very long, but it's very telling. Males enjoy physical performance advantages over females with competitive sport. The sex-based segregation into male and female sporting categories does not account for transgender persons who experience incongruence between their biological sex and their experienced gender identity. Accordingly, the International Olympic Committee, IOC, determined criteria by which a transgender woman may be eligible to compete in the female category, requiring total serum testosterone levels to be suppressed below 10 nmol/L for at least 12 months prior to and during competition. Whether this regulation removes the male performance advantage has not been scrutinized. Here, we review how differences in biological characteristics between biological males and females affect sporting performance and assess whether evidence exists to support the assumption that testosterone suppression in transgender women removes the male performance advantage and thus delivers fair and safe competition. We report that the performance gap between males and females becomes significant at puberty and often amounts to 10 to 50% depending on sport. The performance gap is more pronounced in sporting activities relying on muscle mass and explosive strength, particularly in the upper body, like weightlifting. Longitudinal studies examining the effects of testosterone suppression on muscle mass and strength in transgender women consistently show very modest changes, where the loss of lean body mass, muscle area, and strength typically amounts to approximately 5% after 12 months of treatment. Are you hearing this now? To conclude, thus, the muscular advantage enjoyed by the transgender woman is only minimally reduced minimally reduced when testosterone is suppressed. Sports organizations should consider this evidence when reassessing current policies regarding participation of transgender women in the female category of sport. All right, there you go. There's your science. There is your science. Oh, believe the science. Well, there's the science. You don't believe it. MSNBC doesn't research crap. MSNBC doesn't care. I'm getting paid like $2 an hour to do this show. $2 an hour, maybe a little more. I take more time and care to research and find truth than you bozos at MSNBC do. You have little Willie Geist sitting there, getting paid millions of dollars. And he does nothing. Neither does Morning Joe or Morning Mika or Joy God-awful Reed or any of the other bozos on there or CNN. I care. You don't. You have a narrative you run with. I want to know what the truth is. I found the truth, and they're denying the truth. They're making it up. They are literally making it up. If they looked, they would have found. But they didn't look, so they maintain that, there is no difference between males and females. The guy, the bozo there from the organization suing Governor DeSantis, has no clue what he's talking about. The science. He hasn't even looked at the science. All he cares about is the narrative. That's it. There is a huge difference, even after a year. Let me read you that last part again about transgenders. And again, I want to tell you who wrote this. This was written by Dr. Emma Hilton, specialty in biology, medicine, and health, and Dr. Tommy Lundberg, PhD, Karolinska Institute, Department of Laboratory Medicine, have studied this. They've looked into this. The conclusion: thus, the muscular advantage enjoyed by transgender women is only minimally reduced when testosterone is suppressed. In other words, they still keep the advantage. Oh, the science. Shut up. You're stupid. You don't belong on national TV. You don't belong in a frickin' daycare. You belong in a frickin' daycare. You'd learn more in a daycare than anybody's going to learn by watching MSNBC or any of the idiot guests they have on there. Because they don't care about anything but narrative. Research be damned. No, I'll do the research for you. Don't worry, maybe the pay will catch up with the work someday. No, you know what? I've got to be real. I wouldn't want to work on. I want to do my show right from where I am right now. This is my comfy spot. Oh, if I get picked up nationally, that's great. I don't want to go work for MSNBC or any of those boneheads. Fox News, none of them. Now, I like what I'm doing here. I've got a pretty darn good life because I've got a happy wife and great family. This is my hobby. So wokeism needs to be fought. This is all wokeism. That's all it is. It's wokeism to the umpteenth degree, and it's dangerous. It's killing us. It is killing America. The rest of the world, although Joe Biden and the Democrats love to say, well, finally, we are welcome back to the world. You know who's praising us? You know who's praising us? Iran, China. They are doing it with their fingers crossed. They're laughing at us because Joe wants to re-sign the Iran nuclear deal and give Iran more free reign in the world. Send them more pallets of money, maybe. Huh? Oh, they can't wait for that. He's re-signed the Paris Climate Accord. Oh, welcome back to the world stage. Give me a break. They are watching Joe Biden destroy America one move at a time, and they are celebrating. The Paris Climate Accord is only going to hurt America. The Iran nuclear deal is only going to hurt America and our allies. China, free and clear. No, China, do you know this? Paris Climate, China doesn't have to do anything. They can keep pumping out those fossil fuels. In fact, Joe Biden has gone ahead and said, "Oh, we aren't going to give you any pushback on that pipeline to Germany. No, you go right ahead and do it. China can get all the oil they need. They need a lot more than we do because we're going all electric here in the U.S. And Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin over there going, ha, Angela Merkel, ha, ha, ha. Listen to that old guy. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. We're watching the destruction of America, and the left is there just saying, oh, go, Joe, go, Joe. Go, you're the man, Joe. Keep doing it, Joe. Take away the oil, put up windmills, put up solar panels, open the borders, Joe. Come on, bring it. That's what the leftists are saying, and the rest of the world is laughing their ass off at us. They think they're looked at as, wow, America's back. America's being laughed at. America was feared, a healthy fear. Not that we were going to do anything, but that they didn't want to pull any punches with Donald Trump in office. That's when we were safe. That's when we were superior, militarily, economically, infrastructure-wise. We've got none of those things. And we're not going to get any back under Biden or Kamala. So wokeism, how do we stop it? Listen up. Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire did a piece for PragerU on wokeism and how it's infiltrated everything from colleges to big corporations. Everything. He also says that we can stop it, but we need to be active members of the fight. We can't be, no more can we be cheerleaders. I mean, that's great. Go, yeah. Yeah, you go, Trump. You go, whoever. Who do we have, really, that is all gung-ho? Marjorie Taylor Greene, who they hate. Love her. Lauren Boebert, who they hate. Love her. Everything they hate is good. Trust me. Everything the left hates is good. We need more people like that. So you've got to stand up. You've got to fight. You've got to stop sitting on the sideline being a cheerleader. Here's Ben Shapiro and a piece he did for PragerU. And this may be all you need to know about how we fight back.
Well, as folks in Arizona know, I've
that was the wrong one. Okay, take two. Here's Ben Shapiro.
Congratulations, graduates. Your days of indoctrination in wokeism are behind you. Your worries about being graded down because you wouldn't say America is systemically racist? Over. Your fears that you'd be socially shunned because of your failure to decry the evils of capitalism? Done. Yes, you've been liberated. Next stop, the real world, where merit is rewarded, diversity of opinion is welcomed, and the free and open exchange of ideas is celebrated.
Right.
Just kidding. The truth is, many of you are about to move from the ivory tower of the authoritarian left to, well, probably the glass and steel tower of the authoritarian left.
Right.
Today's business behemoths have also become bastions of woke thought. Terrified of discrimination lawsuits and all the time, money, and bad PR, they bend to every woke diktat that blows through their HR departments. Corporations spend millions on useless diversity compliance officers whose sole purpose is to insulate them from an ever-expanding list of discrimination claims, but most especially racism. That's why within the first few days on the job, you will likely be subjected to an orientation taught by a devotee of Ibram X. Kendi or Robin DiAngelo. During a day-long struggle session, this anti-racist consultant will inform you that if you're white, you must become less white. And if you're a person of color, a POC, you are a victim. Corporations cater to their squeakiest customers, and the authoritarian left is nothing if not squeaky. It threatens boycotts and company-destroying publicity if businesses refuse to comply with its demands. According to a study by James Bailey and Hillary Phillips, as reported in the Harvard Business Review, a generic corporation identified as apolitical or liberal saw no blowback from a panel of prospective consumers. But a generic corporation identified as conservative saw a 33% drop in opinion, entirely driven by participants who identified as Democrats. That's why your boss will likely send out regular company-wide emails assuring you that he or she or she is on the right side of history and pledging millions of dollars in support of whatever the leftist cause du jour happens to be.
Right.
And you'll be forced to echo these messages or seek employment elsewhere.
Echo.
Corporations, above all, are risk-averse and controversy-averse. This means that they are petrified of their own woke workers and cater to them in order to avoid media-manufactured blowback. While apolitical staffers and conservatives may constitute the majority of employees at any company, the corporate heads are driven by fear of a vocal ideological minority, which is why if you offend one of your fellow employees on a message board by suggesting that there are non-sexist reasons why men outnumber women in STEM jobs, you'll be summarily fired. Just ask James Damore of Google. Conservatives used to believe that what happened in college stayed in college. This was a colossal mistake. Slowly but surely, college radicals have renormalized America's institutions. Let's talk about how. Author Nassim Nicholas Taleb discusses the process of renormalization in his book, Skin in the Game. Let's say you have a family of 4, including one daughter who only eats vegan. Mom now has a choice. She can cook 2 meals, one for the non-vegan family members and one for her daughter, or she can cook 1 meal with only vegan ingredients. She decides to cook only 1 meal. This is renormalization of the family unit, which has converted from majority non-vegan to vegan. Now, says Taleb, have the family attend a barbecue with 3 other families. The host has to make the same choice Mom did, make 1 meal or make 2. This process of renormalization, the new normal, continues until broader and broader numbers have been moved by one inflexible person. The same holds true in corporations. All it takes, according to physicist Serge Gallum, is a tipping point. A certain percentage of the population joining an inflexible movement and demanding change from a less than motivated majority. Gallum puts that number at approximately 20%. So, here's the good news. Renormalization can work in reverse, too. Here's how. Find a group of like-minded employees. Make demands that a majority of employees agree with. Be inflexible and be loud. Band together to resist the intrusions of the radical left. Donald McNeil of the New York Times lost his job because he used the N-word in describing why not to use the N-word. 150 woke staffers at the Times complained to the editors and got him canned. But there are 1,200 employees at the Times. What if even 200 of those employees had pushed back?
Right.
You can lead the pushback. In fact, you should. Now, that may seem like a lot to ask. Why should a CEO listen to his youngest employees? Fair question. But here's the answer. They already do. It's 23-year-old woke staffers who are forcing these corporations to the left. It's going to take 23-year-old non-left staffers to move them back.
Right.
That means being smart. It means not making dumb mistakes on social media. It means building alliances with those who aren't motivated primarily by politics. But just as you were in college, you are now in opposing territory. And that requires fighting back in strategic ways. Be an advocate for truth and a warrior for liberty. Welcome to the real world and the real fight. I'm Ben Shapiro for Prager University.
There it is, Ben Shapiro. The Daily Wire, he said it right there. You've got to be in the fight. When they come after you, we've got to fight back. He made some good analogies. The New York Times, 150 employees said they wanted the guy fired. He got fired because nobody on the other side pushed back. If the mob is the only voice, the mob wins. Makes sense. That's all we've got time for. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And Mike Violette back here tomorrow morning at 6. Hope you have a great afternoon. And as always, thank you for joining me. And please share. Please, let's share the love, share the freedom, share the truth. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great afternoon.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
This is Molly from Rod Cycle and RV. We're about a year into the pandemic, and we're all searching for some sort of normalcy. Picture yourself sitting by the campfire with friends and family, your favorite drink in hand, sharing stories and laughing. I bet you thought of a specific night. We want to help you find your normal. We have a large selection of new and pre-loved travel trailers and fifth wheels, fully stocked parts store, and the best camper service around. Rod Cycle and RV, Route 201 Madison, or online at rodcycleandrv.com. We're not trying to be the biggest, but always trying to be the best.
What's important here at Moody's is we have a lot of opportunity for upward mobility.
Moody's definitely helped me through. They sent me to school. I got my degree in business. I had the demeanor and I had the willpower and the want.
Our trade